This is the Troll Patrol. Live. With Justin. Freakin.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol. Live. It's a freaking Sunday. Purple is always a really good guess. Because that's my favorite color. If you can't tell by like the scheme of everything. I've got on green today because I missed St. Patty's Day on Thursday. I gotta show you guys. I actually had awesome graphics ready to go. There's my leprechaun troll. The old pot of gold over there in the chat. But Thursday afternoon, I was feeling like shit. I got my booster shot. I felt the effects of it yet again. Wednesday, where was I at? I was just fucking off. That was just one of those days where it's like, I'm fucking off. My apologies. So sorry, yes, Warlord, it has been 5 days unless you joined me for the Friday Night Freak Show on Friday night. Sparkles and I were here. We fought like, after a string of just horrendous shows that were borderline unlistenable, unwatchable. Finally, I felt like Sparkles and I put out a product that, like, was entertaining. Somebody could sit there and listen to us talk for 2.5 hours and be entertained by it. Maybe not the part where we were eating ice cream, but hey. A tetanus booster. I haven't had a tetanus shot in a very long time. I'm probably way overdue. I think you're supposed to get them, what, every like 7 to 10 years or something? Ginger, welcome, you beautiful fucker. Spider, Warlord. He wanted to go and Windex the Bean in Chicago. If you guys didn't get to catch the Freak Show, that clip is up on YouTube. I highly recommend it. The clip where we're watching the python fight the bobcat. Scatterbox, I thought somebody blocked you. I thought you got kicked. How are you back in here? Maybe you didn't get booted. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. My apologies if I'm thinking of somebody else. Hold on, I didn't pick us out a meme for today. I was too busy. We have a little breaking news as we're coming on the air. A Supreme Court justice is in the hospital. The name will definitely make you happy, but it looks like he's going to pull through. That probably won't make you very happy. Did I give you a timeout? I don't think I was the one handing out the timeouts. I don't do that kind of thing. I am a free speech absolutist. I want to give everybody a chance to speak their minds. Yes, the Black Supreme Court Justice, the only one we have for right now, is in the hospital on the eve of what would be the second Black Supreme Court Justice and her first confirmation hearings in front of the Judiciary Committee tomorrow. First day of spring. Yes, first day of spring. I've always... Is tomorrow actually the first day of spring, or is today the first day of spring? Because the solstice occurs tonight, right? So I've never been clear on which day is actually the first day of spring. Or did the solstice occur last night? No, equinox. It's the equinox. Not solstice. Solstice is summer. Winter. Equinox is spring and vernal. Yes? I think. Breaking Points had an editorial by Sagar and Jetty in which he said, no, it's actually wrong. We don't want daylight savings time to be permanent. And I was like, I go into things with an open mind, and all right, let me hear why you think we shouldn't have daylight savings time being permanent. His reasoning was that children are less safe riding buses with the extra hour of darkness during the wintertime. To which I say, Sagar and Jetty is an anti-masker and didn't give a shit about putting fucking kids in danger with COVID. So fuck off with your oh, it's an extra hour of dark and it makes the kids less safe. It's always, will somebody think about the children? Fuck off, Sagar. I don't give a shit about the children. Fuck your kids. No, don't literally fuck kids. That would be bad. Don't give a shit about the kids. I tried to protect them from COVID, but Sagar didn't give a shit. Simplest thing in the world to do is to have a universal masking policy, and Sagar has just poo-pooed all over that. So fuck off with your faux outrage using children whenever it's convenient for you for your political nonsense. Yeah, if your reasoning behind wanting to scrap keeping daylight savings time all year round is that children would be up in the darkness and it would be less safe for them, guess what? Studies have shown that children do better when the school day starts later. They learn more. Yes, Spider, change the fucking school day. Children do better when the day starts at like 10 a.m. as opposed to like 7:40 fucking 5. Seriously, I think that's maybe 7:50 is what time I had to be at school in high school. 7:50 in the morning. Fuck off. As you can see, we have a meme comparing the Trump administration to the Biden administration. I think it is quite accurate. Now, if you have not seen the movie Get Out, yeah, Get Out, that was the name of it, but you might not get the joke. This is the I'm so not racist I would have voted for Obama a third time. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. I enjoyed it. What are we talking about tonight? Oh, I've got this video of Glenn Beck scolding Dave Rubin over being a gay man and adopting, but we got too much shit to get to. We're going to watch that tomorrow night. All kinds of... Okay. Some of you haven't been with me as long as others. Warlord might remember this. I think it happened last spring. There was a teacher in New York City. She was teaching a class over Zoom. He was eating a bowl of spaghetti while the students were doing some kind of assignment. A shirtless man then walks over and she proceeds to suck the shirtless man's nipple. Eats spaghetti and then sucks the shirtless man's nipple. The story is back in the spotlight because she is back at the school. And guess what? We now have the video. We have the video of her sucking the shirtless man's nipple. Thank you to the people who commented on my video of that from like over a year ago, which made me go, something must have happened with this. So I Googled the woman's name, and sure enough, we have a follow-up. Russell Brand's reaction to being labeled right-wing. We're going to have to talk about the lab leak theory again. Apparently, Ryan Grimm from The Intercept did an interview with one of the researchers. I'm thinking the Hills headline is kind of clickbaity. I don't know if we're going to learn any new information from this interview, but the headline says that the researcher has turned on her fellow researcher, Peter Doziak, something like Their names associated early on with the lab leak theory. Get into that. Unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about the thing that all right-wingers are talking about goddamn nonstop over this weekend. So I got a few more fans from the trans community thanks to the Matt Walsh stupid ass children's book he wrote. I hate to have to talk about this story, but we're going to have to talk about Leah Thomas. Did I say trans people? Is that a bad terminology? Cancel Justin. I've got some information to shut down people that might be against Leah Thomas and her accomplishments. We'll get into that. And an Olympic swimmer that actually lost to Leah Thomas gave an interview and said that she supports her. So that's gonna be a ray of sunshine in some muck we're gonna have to get down in, because we're gonna have to hear from, like, who do I have? Somebody from, like, the Daily Wire talking. Oh man, I've even got Fox News did an interview with some TERFs, some radical feminists that are trans denying. Oh yeah, yep. That's exactly what they've been on about. So many news stories because Justin hasn't got a chance to talk about the news in a while. The police are not reporting hate crimes, apparently. Yes, the picture under the Biden administration is from the movie Get Out. J.K. Bowling. Oh, I have a good meme about Harry Potter. About the new Harry Potter game. I might have to save that one for tomorrow. We got some cop stories. I saw a headline that said police officer and wife die in shooting suicide or something like that. And I'm like, fuck, the cop shot her. And yes, sure enough, the cop shot the wife. We've got a Tennessee cop that harassed a driver. There are more trucks. There are more truck drivers going on strike this week than are driving in the DC convoy. Got a walkout at Amazon. A student loan servicing company misled students. I think that is the entire student loan industry. Some medical debt is getting ready to come off the books. Really fucking cool. Apparently, Senator Kyrsten Sinema, a Democrat, bashed leader of her own party, President Joe Biden. Biden is confused by Senator Sinema. Biden administration actually contemplated a plan to send out gas cards. Biden was gonna send you a prepaid gas card. And it was shot down, apparently, by congressional committees. Speaking of athletes that deserve attention, Brittany Griner has been imprisoned in Russia. Senator Tim Kaine says she is being used as a negotiating tactic. We're going to hear from Vladimir Zelensky, who apparently had some tough words for Russia. John Bolton said that Trump planned to actually leave NATO, wanted the U.S. to leave NATO during his second term. Trump promises to return to the White House. Plus, we're going to talk about not one, but two 2020 election conspiracies. You thought we were done talking about Hunter Biden's laptop. You thought we were done talking about Ashley Biden's diary. It's possible you haven't even heard about Ashley Biden's diary. I would assume that the Biden administration would send out prepaid debit cards, and that you would be able to use it. Would just be a stimulus money plan, but it could very well just be a gas card that you can only use on gasoline. We'll read that story here in a little bit and see what the actual sentiment was behind the bill. Supreme Court, or the proposal, I'm sorry, it would have been like an executive action. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas has been admitted to the hospital with an infection. This actually happened on Friday. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, who I affectionately refer to as Old Pube Can. Supreme Court Associate Justice Clarence Thomas has been hospitalized for the past 2 days and is being treated for an infection. Thomas, the most senior associate justice on the High Court, is being treated with intravenous antibiotics, the court said, and his symptoms are improving. The Supreme Court said Thomas was admitted to Sibley Memorial Hospital in Washington, D.C. on Friday after experiencing flu-like symptoms. Court officials said Thomas expects to be released in a day or two. Now, I would find it to be cosmic justice, karma, whatever you want to call it. If Justice Thomas, a lot of people would be like, I don't want to wish anybody ill. I hope he recovers. Blah blah blah. I don't. I hope you rot in hell, Justice Thomas. Thomas has a pube infection. So, having said that, like, it would be cosmic justice to see something happen to Thomas the night before Ketanji Brown Jackson's first hearings in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee tomorrow morning. Did I mention fuck Clarence Thomas? Pulling for you, buddy. I was being sarcastic. I'm not high enough for any of this shit. I was too busy fucking, I gotta post this show a million different places during the countdown. I didn't have time to actually smoke this bowl that I packed. I hit the ribs. Fine, I'll do it. This is always a headline you want to wake up to. Researchers say Russia's invasion reaching a deadly stalemate. For more than 3 weeks, the war in Ukraine has reached a stalemate, and Russian forces are making only small gains, the New York Times writes. Apparently, the city of Mariupol is completely decimated. It no longer stands whatsoever. That was the assessment Saturday from the Institute for the Study of War, a widely respected DC research group. I don't know who gave them the title of widely respected. I was not consulted on this. The Institute for the Study of War sounds like an institute I would not respect. But that's just me. We're getting completely off topic here. Ukrainian forces have defeated the initial Russian campaign of this war, the note says. The campaign aimed to conduct airborne and mechanized operations to seize Kyiv, Kharkiv, Odessa, and other major Ukrainian cities to force a change of government in Ukraine. Russian forces continue to make limited advances in some parts of the theater, but are very unlikely to be able to seize their objectives in this way. This kind of shows you what Russia is in control of, or where they are launching attacks. Stalemate will likely be very violent and bloody, the Institute adds. Stalemate is not armistice or ceasefire. If the war in Ukraine settles into a stalemate condition, Russian forces will continue to bomb and bombard Ukrainian cities, devastating them and killing civilians. World War I battles of the Somme, Verdun, and Passchendaele were all fought in conditions of stalemate and did not break the stalemate. Is that what the Iron Maiden song Passchendaele is about? That battle? That actually makes sense. Thinking of the lyrics now. I'm sorry. Oh, the Dale of Passchendaele. I was high enough on Friday night because I got off here and I passed out. I passed out on the couch. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky had this to say to Russian forces.
For meaningful talks. That was the message from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to Moscow on Saturday as he called on Russia to stop its invasion. This is the only chance for Russia to reduce harm from its mistakes, he said, adding that it would otherwise take Russia several generations to recover from the war. Since President Vladimir Putin launched the assault on February the 24th, Russian forces have taken heavy losses and their advance has largely stalled. But they have laid siege to cities, blasting urban areas to rubble, and in recent days have intensified missile attacks on scattered targets in western Ukraine, away from the main battlefields in the north and east of the country. The port city of Mariupol has been hit particularly hard. Officials there say fighting has reached the city centre and heavy shelling has prevented humanitarian aid from getting in. In cars with smashed windows held together by tape, these evacuees managed to escape the besieged city, arriving in Zaporizhia. There is no Mariupol, this lady says, adding that she had sat in a cellar for 10 days with no water or electricity.
Our homes are destroyed. Bombs landed in the yards, and in every flat, the windows were blown out. So we took our parrot, the dog, and together with the whole family, we got in the car and drove. There were lots of people dying on the streets. Dead bodies were lying on the streets.
Their parrot.
Efforts to evacuate
That parrot was
civilians were
adorable.
also underway in the eastern region of Luhansk.
The dogs were adorable as well.
Saturday. A regime of silence has been agreed for March the 19th, Serhiy Gaidai said in a message on Telegram, adding that a humanitarian corridor had been opened. Luhansk lies in Ukraine's coal-rich Donbass region that has been partly controlled by Russia-backed separatists since 2014. Russia's defense ministry said on Saturday it had used hypersonic missiles to destroy a large weapons depot in Ukraine's western Ivano-Frankivsk region. Missiles had also destroyed Ukrainian military and reconnaissance centers near the port of Odessa, the Interfax news agency.
You know those animals are terrified. The people are terrified. The animals take their cues from the people.
Moscow calls its actions in Ukraine
all the loud
special
bombings and
operation
shit.
to
Oh my god, I can't, like,
demilitarize
fucking
and
Smokey can't take
southern
fireworks.
Kyiv and Moscow reported some
It'd break
progress
my
in talks
heart
this
to-
week towards a political formula that would guarantee Ukraine's security
To see what it'd be
while
like
keeping
to,
it
to
outside
see
NATO,
an
one of
animal
Russia's
react to a
main
war
demands.
zone.
Though each side has accused the other of dragging out the talks.
Now, Zelensky actually made a plea to our Congress, the U.S. Congress. You might not be from this country. Once again, fucking entitled American thinks everything revolves around the U.S. Our Congress. Zelensky spoke to the U.S. Congress on Thursday.
Glory to heroes.
Дуже дякую.
Thank you very much.
Пані спікер,
Madam
члени
Speaker,
Конгресу,
members of the Congress, ladies and gentlemen,
американці.
Americans, friends.
Я
I'm proud to greet you from Ukraine, from our capital city of Kyiv, a city that is under missile and airstrikes from Russian troops every day. Right now, the destiny of our country is being decided. The destiny of our people, whether Ukrainians will be free, whether they will be able to preserve their democracy. Russia has attacked not just us, not just our land, not just our cities. It went on a brutal offensive against our values, basic human values. It threw tanks and planes against our freedom, against our right to live freely in our own country, choosing our own future. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, Americans, in your great history, you have pages that would allow you to understand Ukrainians, understand us now, when you need it right now, when we need you right now. Remember Pearl Harbor, terrible morning of December 7, 1941, when your sky was black from the planes attacking you.
That is the worry, and that's why this conflict is so important.
Remember September the 11th,
everything could spiral out of control, and it really turned into another world war.
2001, when evil tried to turn your cities, independent territories, in battlefields, when innocent people were attacked from air. Yes, just like no one else expected it. You could not
Jones,
stop
welcome.
it. Our country experience the same every day, right now, at this moment, every night, for 3 weeks now. This is a terror that Europe has not seen for 80 years, and we are asking for a reply, for an answer.
Well, there are parts of Europe that have seen
Is this a lot
bombings.
to ask for, to create a no-fly zone over Ukraine to save people? Is this too much to ask? Humanitarian no-fly.
Yes, your no-fly zone is indeed too much to ask. Yes, President Zelensky. No-fly zone would require NATO to enforce it, which means the U.S. would have to enforce it, which means the U.S. would have to shoot down Russian planes, and that would indeed trigger World War III. We are doing the smart thing by not issuing a no-fly zone. This whole notion is insane. I understand this man is desperate. Also, I saw right-wingers dragging him over the fact that he had a t-shirt on that is 100% part of his PR campaign to show that he is a fighter and that he is fighting with the people. It is propaganda towards the Russians and for the Ukrainians. So of course he's going to wear a t-shirt. Of course he's going to that's when he was elected. He got elected by doing these, selfie kind of videos where he was natural and shit. And public opinion had really started turning against him in only a year or so he had been in office. Fly zone now! So yes, Zelensky, that is too much to add. Let's be nuanced here. It is okay to say that, Russia is in the wrong, Ukraine has the right to defend itself, has the right to autonomy, and that it's none of the U.S.'s business. That we can support it in other ways, whatever. I don't know if I'm into sending weapons or training, because we've seen what happens. We have armed militants to fight against Russia in the past, and then 9/11 happened. We trained the people that attacked us on 9/11. So, there's no good answers here. A no-fly zone's definitely not a good answer. I liked his move to ask to join the EU. Now he also has another statement we're going to delve into here in just a second. It transitions something else we're going to talk about. First, we're going to talk about the Fox News reporters that died.
About our colleagues, Pierre.
So this woman is Jen Griffin, the security analyst for Fox News. She's actually really good.
And Brett, a word about our colleagues, Pierre, Sasha, and Ben Hall tonight. The loss and pain we feel is enormous, but if ever there...
Supplies and humanitarian aid is absolutely a must. Brokering some sort of peace, a ceasefire, is a must. That is the U.S.'s role. Getting the humanitarian corridors up and running, coordinating with the Red Cross, that is the U.S.'s role. Got no business going in there and slinging our dicks around for any fucking reason. Two reporters for Fox News died in Ukraine last week. This is the security analyst for Fox News.
Brett, a word about our colleagues, Pierre, Sasha, and Ben Hall tonight. The loss and pain we feel is enormous, but if ever there were a time that the world needed journalists, reporters risking their lives to tell these stories, to tell the truth, it's now. Without a free press, the autocrats win. We will redouble our efforts to honor these colleagues and all reporters in harm's way tonight.
Jennifer Griffin, live at the Pentagon. Your feelings are our feelings tonight. Jennifer, thank you.
She barely made it through that.
And Brett, a word about...
Good job, Jennifer. Good job. And that, like, fucking, I will toke to those two reporters. I have the utmost respect for journalists. Even if they're working for... U.S. demands Russia allow access to detained Brittany Griner. This is a story that has flown under the radar. It's a shame that people haven't been sharing this all over social media. I wonder why. I wonder if there's something about this young lady. Is it something about the way she looks, maybe, that doesn't garner the attention that a young white blonde girl does. I even saw an op-ed where, like, the silence on Brittany Griner is intentional to help the talks or to not interfere with the talks. Bullshit. Bullshit. The United States stepped up its push on Friday for consular access to Brittany Griner, the WNBA star, who was detained in Russia on allegations of drug smuggling as a member of a Russian state-backed prison monitoring group. Said Griner was faring well behind bars. Russian state-backed prison monitoring group doesn't instill much confidence. Ekaterina Kalagina told the Associated Press on Friday that she visited Griner on Monday at the pretrial detention facility outside of Moscow, where she's being held, and spoke to her with the help of a cellmate who speaks Russian and English and served as an interpreter. Physical condition is fine. She's holding up fine, and I'd even say that she is fairly calm and isn't anxious. According to Kalgalina, that's what she said of the Phoenix Mercury star, whose legal ordeal comes amid tension between Russia and the U.S. over Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Kalugina is a member of the Public Monitoring Commission that visits lockups in that part of Russia. Such commissions, which operate throughout the country, position themselves as independent but rarely challenge Russian authorities on major issues. Griner's lawyers have been visiting her regularly and have brought her care packages that include food and personal items, but she hadn't met with a U.S. counsel yet. The State Department issued a statement on Friday demanding access to Griner, who plays professionally in Russia during the WNBA offseason. Closely engaged on this case and in frequent contact with Brittany Griner's legal team We insist the Russian government provide consular access to all U.S. citizen detainees in Russia, including those in pretrial detention, as Brittany Griner is. We have repeatedly asked for consular access to those detainees and have consistently been denied access. Detained after arriving at a Moscow airport reportedly in mid-February. So we're over a month now, probably, after Russian authorities said a search of her luggage revealed vape cartridges that allegedly contained oil derived from cannabis, which could carry a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison. Russian state news agency TASS reported Thursday that a court had extended Griner's pretrial detention till May 19th. Polgina said that, I don't know, I've said it different every time, I'm sorry, that when she met with Griner made no complaints about her treatment at the facility and said she was getting an hour a day to spend in the exercise yard. Oh my God. One of the other things Zelensky has made news on this weekend was the statement that if Ukraine were a NATO member, a war wouldn't have started. Bold statement. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said on Sunday that had Ukraine been admitted into NATO earlier, Russia would not have invaded. Russia's unprovoked invasion of Ukraine has stretched on for more than 3 weeks, with experts now saying that the war has reached a stalemate. For a NATO member, a war wouldn't have started. I'd like to receive security guarantees for my country, for my people, Zelensky told CNN's Fareed Zakaria. If NATO members are ready to see us in the alliance, then do it immediately because people are dying on a daily basis. Zelensky said he had previously appealed to NATO to be told clearly whether Ukraine could join the alliance. The response was very clear: you're not going to be a NATO member, but publicly the doors will remain open. Speaking of NATO, apparently Trump was planning on leaving NATO.
Trump cared one thing about Ukraine, which was how does it affect his political future? And I can say that every other senior national security advisor, Mike Pompeo, Mark Esper at Defense, all of us felt that we needed to bolster Ukraine's security and were appalled at what Trump was doing. And
Trump believed he needed to withhold whatever he could in order to blackmail them into doing his bidding.
Finally, it got resolved in the near term on the security assistance, but the significant negative consequences for Ukraine, I think, were real.
One last question. In your memoir, you wrote that the president.
Sky Comet, you are correct. We've had just a sprinkling of Trump. It's been pleasant. It's been a pleasant amount of Trump here on the Troll Patrol over the last year. It has been quite nice. Seriously, about because this is, about this time last year, January 6th has died down. Trump has gone pretty much radio silent. So it's been a year of just a trickling of Trump stories. We cover a rally, we laugh at the dumb motherfucker. It's been very nice. It's been very nice. But unfortunately, the reprieve we've been granted is probably not going to last very much longer. At best, our Trump light programming ends, after the midterm election in November. If not, he's already starting to come out a lot more. He had I've got fresh Trump comments for you tonight. We're starting to ramp up. 2024 is not that far away. They're in the early planning stages of what's going to go on. So, there's gonna be more Trump, and I'm not gonna, cause we're just gonna get a little taste of Trump here. Like, it's gonna be like 5 minutes, we're on to something else. It's been so fucking nice. It's been so nice. But unfortunately, he's gonna fucking dominate the news cycle yet again going into 2024, cause he'll be the Republican nominee. Do any of you have any doubts? Do any of you think seriously that if he runs, he won't win the Republican nomination? Oh my God, tones. When I went to go, I go and check my videos after they go up and make sure they're right. I was doing it on my phone for the Freak Show, and I click on one of my videos, and I got a Ron DeSantis ad. Ron DeSantis paid for time on a show that I produced. I mean, not specifically me. But he was placed on political content on YouTube. I didn't watch it. Trump, he's been copying Trump mannerisms and shit. DeSantis is a force to be reckoned with, but if he goes head to head with Trump, I mean, that'd be the best thing for us, right? If DeSantis tries to take out Trump. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he'll bide his time. First of all, DeSantis being in the 2024 picture is solely contingent on if he wins the governorship before then. I believe the governor's race is next year in Florida. Right now, it looks like the Republicans are going to underperform what they should. They might take back the House. 50-50, they take back the House, probably. But, the gains will be, just a handful. And, my prediction right now, and this is a bold prediction, is I think the Democrats are going to pick up a seat or two in the Senate. So, and here's another thing, is Trump's primary candidates in the high-profile races, here in my state, the Trump-endorsed candidate is third in the Republican Senate primary. That's something in the reddest state. I am in the state where the first serious politician, Jeff Sessions, endorsed Trump. It was that rally, which I was at a TV station. We covered that rally in 2016, where Jeff Sessions endorsed Trump. That rally where things actually turned a corner. A sitting senator endorsed Trump. Okay, got a comment. The reason why I think the Democrats are going to pick up a couple of seats is, one, there's no good Republican candidates. It's more of a there is nobody appealing at all, and you're going to see that. You're going to see the Ohio Senate Republican primary. They got into a fight. One of them called the other one a pussy. It's great. We got that video. We're going to play that here in a little bit. Republicans don't have appealing candidates, and there's a lot of infighting going on within the Republican Party. And we've got some good Democratic candidates. I always forget his name. There's Charles Booker in Kentucky. It's a bit of a long shot, but he might be able to take out Rand Paul. Then there's Chambers in Louisiana. He's the one that lit up a blunt in his first ad. He burnt a Confederate flag in his second ad. These people are making some waves. There are some good Democratic candidates. Fetterman in Pennsylvania. That's a Republican seat right now, if I'm not mistaken, right? In Pennsylvania. So if Fetterman wins, that's a pickup, and he is probably going to win. So I think it's a pickup. I'm not sure. Is that a Democratic seat? Is that Connor Lamb? Is that Pennsylvania? Now I'm second guessing myself. My stoner, it's amazing that I retain the political information that I do, because every other topic in my life, like movie I watched yesterday, I don't fucking remember it. I watched yesterday. I watched Batman Begins for the second time. This is the second time I've seen it. Like watching a brand new fucking movie. I don't remember shit about that. Man, they really did the Scarecrow wrong, didn't they? Such an awesome character. He was just like a lackey. I mean, I love Liam Neeson and all, but shit. You guys telling me to hit the bowl? I'm sitting here holding it. And Sky comment, that's a good thing. The more they talk about Trump, the more it's good for Democrats. It's a weird thing to admit. Trump is good for Democrats, unfortunately. And this is to the detriment of our country. Because Trump is good to raise money off of. You need a boogeyman for your fundraising emails and shit. And Trump is perfect. And the neoliberals, they hate him. I'm more just fucking like laugh at the motherfucker. Yeah, I think he's dangerous. He's not the dangerous one. It's all the people he would empower. Like, he is an impotent motherfucker. He is a dumb, empty shell of a crevice of a human being. Seriously. There ain't nothing going on there. Trump is just a dumb fuck. It's empowering people like Bolton, but Bolton's right on this one fucking issue. He's right. Yes, I have heard that there's a lot of evidence that Trump can't read. I mean, I would say he's functionally literate, right? Like, the motherfucker's not sitting down and reading a novel, but I would say, like, he can like write his name and shit. Man, woman, person, camera. He can write those words. Yeah, is it like well, the video supposedly exists, right? Isn't it The Apprentice? Toddler potty books. Yeah. That's it. He's got, 3rd grade, 4th grade comprehension. Can't write or talk in complete sentences. But then again, I say that, but I fall asleep sometimes and I wake up and like Frontline or shit will be playing. And Frontline, like American Carnage, This American Carnage or whatever the fuck it was. It was like the look back at the 4 years of Trump. And like there was an old clip of him from the 80s and he was far more, I don't want to say intelligent. He was far more well-spoken than what he is now. Like he's digressed quite a bit. Regressed, not digressed. Regressed. He has regressed. I'll tell you something that hasn't regressed. John Bolton's fucking mustache. That motherfucker's still going. Look, that mustache goes on for days.
President Trump wanted to leave NATO in 2018. How close did that come to reality? And we have just a minute left.
Yeah, I had my heart in my throat at that NATO meeting. I didn't know what the president would do.
A deposition video. Oh, shit.
Speech, and I said, look, go right up to the line, but don't go over it. I sat back down. I had no idea what he'd do. I thought he put his foot over it, but at least he didn't withdraw then. In a second Trump term, I think he may well have withdrawn from NATO. And I think Putin was waiting for that.
Oh, shit. Okay, so that wasn't as concrete as I thought it was. I thought there was like a concrete plan to leave NATO. It was just more the whims of fucking Trump, which once again, like if the Trump presidency didn't expose like the fallibility of the executive branch, come the fuck on. Our founding fathers would like come and like go door to door punching all of us in the face that we actually let that shit happen. The executive branch is far, far too fucking powerful. And Trump proved that to me. He could just go do whatever the fuck he wanted. How is it that Trump is allowed to pull us out of NATO? Wouldn't that be a thing that the Congress has to do via the fucking Constitution? I don't know the specifics of the legalities of it, but I would assume like Congress is the ones that have the power to ratify treaties. How could Trump even have the power to pull us out of NATO? And yeah, I keep seeing this weird shit about like, the invasion wouldn't have happened if Trump was still in office. Bull fucking shit. And those stupid motherfuckers don't know that Zelensky was just elected in like, was it 2019? Or was it the end of 2018? I think he took office in 2019. Might have been elected in 2019. Like, it's not been that fucking long. Zelensky was an anti-Putin candidate. The government before was far more favorable toward the Kremlin. So, I mean, like, Putin didn't have the reason to invade. So just like the whole idea that it wouldn't happen under Trump is nonsense. Apparently, John Bolton has been on a whole crusade to debunk Trump's revisionist history. Well, good luck with that as a full-time job, John Bolton. Worthy of you. Good, dude. Occupy yourself with this shit so you're not doing more horrendous. How are you even still alive? You looked that old when George W. Bush, like, what did they nominated you to be? What, the ambassador to the UN? Is that like that's where I first became a... No, you were actually an official in the Bush administration. But like they nominated you to be the ambassador to the UN. That was like your first like major foray into the public consciousness. How are you still alive? Why are you... How is anybody still bringing you onto a show? Go retire. Go do something. Former President Donald Trump hasn't been praising Vladimir Putin's strategic savvy in invading Ukraine or conspicuously and repeatedly declining to morally judge Putin for it. He's generally fallen back on one big talking point, that this wouldn't have happened if he was still in charge. Henry Kissinger is still fucking alive. Motherfucker's like 96, 97. Anthony Bourdain. We should have let Anthony Bourdain. That would have been justice. If you guys know the quote I'm talking about, we should have put Anthony Bourdain in a steel cage, hell in a cell, sell it on pay-per-view with Henry Kissinger, and let him do the thing that he described. I believe it was in his book. But I think he's also on camera saying it, to do the thing that he describes doing to Henry Kissinger after Anthony Bourdain visited Cambodia. Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, has turned on Trump like many others in Trump's inner orbit have. His version of events is therefore understandably uncharitable. But if there were one thing that would seemingly earn the gratitude of an uber hawk like Bolton, Pretty high on that list would be Trump's supposed success in keeping Putin in check. Bolton has now said repeatedly that this simply isn't how it went down. And he's made quite the opposite case, that Putin didn't do stuff like this during Trump's presidency because Trump was already doing the work for him, specifically by undermining NATO. And it's a case that tracks with plenty of what we already know. Even as few Trump allies turned critics have seen fit to weigh in. Oh God, people are still talking about fucking Russiagate and shit. Russiagate wasn't real. Russiagate wasn't real. Here's fucking Trump's own national security advisor. He was doing the bidding of Putin. I don't understand. I do not understand how we had a president whose own national security advisor said he's doing the bidding of Vladimir Putin of Russia. His defense secretary, chief of staff, both called him a threat to the Constitution. Both those people, decorated fucking generals, call him a threat to the Constitution, and 72 million people still voted for him. And then he proves them correct, leads an insurrection against the Capitol, and still is going to win the Republican nomination. It's absurd. It's absurd. It's absurd. Putin's puppet is a bit harsh. I don't think he's on the they're not meeting in back rooms. Like, Putin's just a lot smarter than he is. And that's ironic, given the notion that the Trump supporters, the MAGA base, think Putin's playing Biden right now because Biden's so dumb. It's insane.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Well, I mean, they did. You can't really call it a back room. We knew they were in it. He just kicked all the translators in the fucking stenographers. Is that what it's called? Stenographers out. Nobody taking notes on his meeting with Putin. Insane. And people still support him. And those people think we're traitors. Please tell me I'm not crazy. I mean, I know, like, you guys, if you're listening to me, if you're fans of me, like, you're tend to be on, like, the same side as me, but I'm not crazy, right? I always want to be put in check. I'm always trying to check my own biases to make biases. I don't think Tucker Carlson is crazy. I think he's smart. He's smart as a fuck. I mean, I am a little crazy, but, like, when I'm talking about the perception of Trump to Biden, like, I live in reality, right? I'm not being influenced by my personal biases. They're the sheeple, right? Hey, like, they post memes about, like, how the truth is unpopular or something that has, like, 20,000 likes on like a stupid fucking t-shirt. And then, like, they'll come make fun of how many views I get. We are all influenced on this. I try to always keep myself in check, right? Like, I try to watch credible. It's gotten harder and harder to find news sources that are credible, that are of the right. There's so many grifters now. That's why, like, Breaking Points and The Hill and That's about all I got, really, that like I'll watch on my own to try to challenge myself. And that's sad. Because I like to challenge myself, but like Ben Shapiro ain't going to give that to me. Ben Shapiro isn't stillmanning himself against my arguments. He's making straw man arguments about me because that's easier content to make. Overplayed a direct link is probably the best way to put that. I mean, there's like a shit ton of connections between the campaign and Russia. But like, I think Trump's too dumb to be any kind of Manchurian candidate. And if he's being used by Putin, he doesn't know he's being used by Putin. That's always kind of been my take on it. And that seems like the more likely scenario. But how in the fuck? These people call themselves patriots. National Security Advisor, Defense Secretary, and Chief of Staff. All say that, like, threat to the Constitution. Almost stopping short of calling him a traitor. Trump only cared about Ukraine insofar as it impacted him politically. I haven't seen any overtly pro-Putin memes. But then again, I've kind of checked out on like being online as much as I used to. This show would be better if I was online more, but because I do this show, I'm online a lot less. Weird dichotomy. The more I'm online, the more I pick up on this shit. He's a brainless dolt. Want to hear from him? I know you guys have missed him, right? He had a rally. I believe he was in South Carolina.
So to every page.
Florence, South Carolina, which is a lovely city, by the way. I've been a few times.
Here today, I ask you to get ready to work, get ready to fight, get ready to win. And we're going to win like never before. We're going to win like never before. This is.
I'm sorry. I should hit the content warning for this, shouldn't I have? Content warning. You guys see his dumb orange face.
Year we are going to take back the House, we are going to take back the Senate, and we are going to take back America. And in we are going to take back that beautiful, beautiful White House.
I drove Sky Comet to drinking by playing a clip of Donald Trump.
I wonder. Together with your help, we will fight for more jobs for American families.
Oh, Borg, I meant to grab that rally. I wanted to watch clips of that.
South Carolina factory.
I forgot all about that.
More products stamped with that beautiful phrase, made in the USA.
Star Craving, you came at just the wrong time. Oh, shit.
We will shut down Joe Biden's border disaster. We will again end catch and release. We will end chain migration, and we will end visa lottery. And we will get that wall finished so fast your head will spin. We will hold China accountable for unleashing the virus and charge them trillions of dollars for the damage and suffering they have caused. We will stop the Biden crime wave in our
God, the people are freezing out there. Look how bundled up they are.
Criminals, and we will give our police officers, our law enforcement, we love them, our 100.
Don't develop a problem. I enjoy moderation. I encourage partaking in intoxicants. I do not encourage having a problem.
The deep state must and will be brought to heel. It's already happening.
The deep state. There is no fucking deep state.
We will defend our Constitution, and we will...
And, like, that's the thing. In the relating back to what I was talking about earlier, like, I thought there was a deep state. I thought there was, like, career bureaucrats that are fucking, like, they're really running things, and the president comes in, and, like, it's a whole bunch of red tape you gotta go through. Nope. This motherfucker proved president can just go in there and do shit on a whim. We have given the executive branch way too much power.
Defend the Second Amendment. We will proudly uphold the Judeo-Christian values and principles of our nation's founding. We will restore patriotic education to our schools. We will teach our children to love their country, honor our history, and to always respect our...
We will teach you to love this country.
American flag. And in conclusion, our MAGA movement is by far the greatest political movement in the history of our country. Together, we are standing up against some of the most sinister forces, entrenched interests, and vicious opponents our people have ever seen. But no matter how big or powerful these corrupt radicals may be, you must never forget this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you.
This land is your land. This land is my land.
This is your home. This is your heritage.
Don't forget to get your commemorative Trump coin. Protect your wealth with physical gold and silver. Get a free 2022 information guide. Text Trump to 65532.
This is a very, very critical time. Our country has never been in trouble like it is right now. In a little more than a year, they have gone on to almost destroy our country, but the key word is...
I'll throw you a quarter, Warlord, and you can call somebody who cares.
We'll make a
boom!
More exceptional...
Fucking kids today ain't gonna get that reverence. There ain't no fucking payphones out here anymore.
There is no summit we cannot reach. There is no challenge we cannot meet. There is no victory we cannot have.
Heritage of Hate sounds like a great tag team name.
Faith is lifting our souls. American pride is beating our...
What are you cooking, Star Craving? What are you making?
Our unflinching courage is coursing through our veins of beautiful, beautiful blood.
I got Donnie Boy over here cooking up a crock of shit here on the stream.
We will not break. We will not yield. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never, ever back down. As long as we are confident and united, the tyrants...
That's the update, Porg.
...stand a chance.
Here's the $15. Call an Uber to go to someone who cares.
And Americans kneel to God.
Fuck yeah, Non.
And kneel to God alone. My fellow citizens, this incredible journey we are on together has only just begun.
You need some hummus to go with that. You making hummus too?
Talking about greatness for our country again. Our country will be great again. We are one movement.
Sparkles made some kind of butter chicken on Friday night.
Family and one
butter chicken and rice. It was really good.
Nation under God. Together we are unstoppable. Together we are unbeatable. And together our ultimate victory is inevitable. And so with the help of everyone here...
Kneel to God's dong? Okay. Oh, it don't even get to my dong.
Here today, and it's such an honor to
fucking love some hummus. That's like one of my favorite snack foods.
Out here.
Oh, funny story. Funny story.
Hardworking.
Nobody gives a shit about Trump. Funny story. Years and years and years, I never would eat hummus because I thought hummus was like sheep or pig intestine. That's haggis. I was very confused on what hummus actually was. And let me tell you, hummus is amazing. Love that shit. Oh God, that heritage not hate. Like fucking every other car where I grew up that was that fucking shit on their bumper sticker. Fucking garlic and some hummus. Well, I've had several kinds of hummus that have been really good. Haggis is illegal to make? Is it really? Is that just is that just here? Because it's like a Scottish delicacy, isn't it? It's country as fuck. Well, okay, look. The only reason I knew what haggis was from, like, you know, Willie on The Simpsons. So, like, I knew what I knew the whole joke about haggis because, like, Willie, like, makes jokes about haggis multiple times throughout the show. His band, Warlord, over in the UK. Wait. You're not saying it's banned in the UK. You're saying it's banned here in the US, like Kinder Eggs are. The words are close together. RB, we're talking about something I picked up when I was a kid. I'm 10 years old watching The Simpsons and Willie's talking about haggis. That just stuck with me. So like, oh, you want some hummus? No, I do not want hummus. Sounds disgusting. But, I mean, awful and shit. People cook with guts. I've cooked with guts. Anti-Scottish racism. Ah! What's up, Mergen? Oh, honor to be with you, even though we're all very cool. Oh, cold. There was a D there, I bet. Fuck off, Trump. Fuck off. What? I fucked the story up. How'd I do this? We're getting ready to talk about Ashley Biden's diary. Article. The Independent. Goddamn. The Independent, which is where I got the story from, has now taken the story down. It was posted 2 hours ago. Apparently now come down. See if we can find another credible source talking about this. What does Ashley Biden's diary have to do with anything? I guess we'll read from the New York Times. That's not something I usually do here. I'm not into potted meat. I'm not into your spams, your stuff like that. I don't like your Vienna sausages. Ashley Biden's diary. Oh no! Get on some Hunter Biden hype. That's what's coming up. We're on the Hunter Biden train. Choo choo, getting ready to hit you like a ton of bricks. Ashley Biden's diary was shown at Trump fundraiser. Weeks later, Project Veritas called her. Right-wing group's deceptive call to the president's daughter a month before Election Day is among the new details that show how the organization worked to expose personal information about the Biden family. Now, Project Veritas had actually been in a lawsuit with the New York Times, I guess trying to stop information like this from coming out because the Times was posting documents from their court case. You know, publicly available shit. A month before the 2020 election, Joseph R. Biden Jr.'s daughter, Ashley, received a call from a man offering help. Striking a friendly tone, the man said that he had found a diary that he believed belonged to Miss Biden and that he wanted to return it to her. Miss Biden had in fact kept a diary the previous year as she recovered from addiction and had stored it and some other belongings at a friend's home in Florida where she had been living until a few months earlier. The diary's highly personal contents, if publicly disclosed, could prove an embarrassment or a distraction to her father at a critical moment in the campaign. 1 month before the election. Agreed with the caller to send someone to retrieve the diary the next day, but Miss Biden was not dealing with a good Samaritan. The man on the other end of the phone worked for Project Veritas, a conservative group that had become a favorite of President Donald J. Trump, according to interviews with people familiar with the sequence of events. From a conference room at the group's headquarters in Westchester County, New York, surrounded by other top members of the group, the caller was seeking to trick Miss Biden into confirming the authenticity of the diary, which Project Veritas was about to purchase from two intermediaries for $40,000. Wow. That's a ballsy fucking move. Damn. The caller did not identify himself as being affiliated with Project Veritas, according to accounts from two people with knowledge of the conversation. By the end of the call, several of the group's operatives who had either listened in, heard recordings of the call, or been told of it believed that Miss Biden had said more than enough to confirm that it was hers. The new details of Project Veritas' effort to establish that the diary was Miss Biden's are elements of a still emerging story about how Trump supporters and a group known for its undercover sting operations worked to expose personal information about the Biden family at a crucial stage of the 2020 campaign. Drawn from interviews, court filings, and other documents, the new information adds further texture to what is known about an episode that has led to a criminal investigation of Project Veritas by federal prosecutors who have suggested that they have evidence that the group was complicit in stealing Miss Biden's property and in transporting stolen goods across state lines. By showing that Project Veritas employed deception rather than traditional journalistic techniques in the way it approached Miss Biden, the caller identified himself with a fake name. The new account could further complicate the organization's assertions in court filings that it should be treated as a publisher and granted First Amendment protections. Project Veritas regularly carries out undercover stings, surveillance operations, and ambush interviews, mostly against liberal groups and journalists. At the same time, new information about the case suggests that the effort to make the diary public reached deeper into Mr. Trump's circle than previously known. A month before the call to Miss Biden, the diary had been passed around a Trump fundraiser in Florida at the home of a donor who helped steer the diary to Project Veritas and was later nominated by Mr. Trump to the National Cancer Advisory Board. Among those attending the event was Donald Trump Jr., though it is not clear if he examined it. Prosecutors have been investigating how Project Veritas obtained the diary and last fall carried out searches at the homes of three of the group's operatives, including that of its founder, James O'Keefe. In court filings, prosecutors have suggested that the organization was complicit in the theft of some of Miss Biden's other belongings, which interviews show the group obtained as it was seeking to confirm the diary's authenticity. Project Veritas, which is suing the New York Times for defamation in an unrelated case, has denied any wrongdoing or knowledge that the belongings had been stolen. It has portrayed itself as a media organization that is being unfairly investigated for simply doing journalism and has assailed the Justice Department and the FBI for their handling of the case, because of course they have. Prosecutors have signaled that they view the circumstances very differently, all but dismissing in one court filing the group's defense that it was acting as a news organization, saying that there is no First Amendment protection for the theft and interstate transport of stolen property. In response to a request to Project Veritas for comment, Mr. O'Keefe sent an email criticizing the Times. Imagine writing so thoroughly divergent from reality and so mendacious with innuendo that there is literally no utterance that won't make it worse. Oh. Spokesman for the FBI and for the federal prosecutors overseeing the case in Southern District of New York declined to comment, as did Roberta Kaplan, a lawyer for Miss Biden. Now, the Biden kid they went after and actually apparently got something going on has had their dicks hard for days now. Now, they do have a point, because finding a reputable organization that was covering this story was kind of hard, and I don't usually go to the Daily Dot for hard journalism. They're usually puppy videos and like weird TikTok shit. So just remember that as we're reading this, which apparently has some kind of a link to Jimmy Kimmel. Conservatives, because I'm not seeing a... Oh, there we go. Here's the byline. Claire Goforth. Doesn't sound like a real name, but I assume you exist, Claire. Works in the tech section. Published this on March 17th. I'm not wasting... I've got too much shit to talk about to waste 15 minutes of everybody's time, Warlord. Unless you guys just want to watch a Candace Owens video. Warlord can share the link and we'll watch a Candace Owens video. You can ask the chat. Getting ready to get like a dose of Ben Shapiro. So like, do you really want Candy O coming in after that? Claire Goforth. It doesn't... Okay, it's a real name. I'm sorry. Maybe it was an attempt at a joke that wasn't good. Just Goforth didn't sound real to me. Conservatives are feeling victorious over a New York Times report that confirmed the existence of Hunter Biden's laptop. Contents of a laptop that belonged to President Joe Biden's son was something of an obsession during the 2020 presidential campaign. At the time, conservatives, ranging from far-right conspiracy theorists to former President Donald Trump, called it the laptop from hell. No, I don't know any Goforths. I've never met a Goforth. Its contents included explicit videos of the younger Biden engaging in sexual acts, using drugs, and information about his business dealings. Whether you believe it was real or not, or took issue with its contents or not, the laptop was an inarguably divisive issue during the 2020 election. I think I covered it for what it was, like an unconfirmed laptop. It's all a nonsense, non-starter story that even if the contents were real, makes no difference in the election. Apparently some of the contents have been confirmed. The laptop has not been confirmed to be real. Let's make that clear. New York Times did not say that in their reporting. They confirmed that the DOJ confirmed that some of the emails on the laptop were authentic. That is where we stand right now. After reports of the laptop circulated, more than 50 former intelligence officials signed a letter saying that they suspected Russia had a hand in the matter, though they were careful to note that they weren't sure if the contents of the emails were authentic. Some reports about the letter said that the intelligence officials described the emails as Russian disinformation. Disinformation is false, which the letter specifically didn't take a position on. On Wednesday, the Times published a detailed story about an ongoing federal investigation into Hunter Biden's business dealings. The story centered largely on investigators' efforts to determine whether he broke any laws, such as the Foreign Agents Registration Act, which requires disclosure of lobbying efforts on behalf of foreign clients. Biden has not been charged with the crime. He's previously insisted that his business dealings were all legal. One sentence from the roughly 1,500-word story has captured conservatives' attention. In a paragraph about emails between Biden and business associates involved in his foreign business dealings, the Times wrote, those emails were obtained by the New York Times from a cache of files that appears to have come from a laptop abandoned by Mr. Biden in a Delaware repair shop. The Times noted that the emails had been authenticated by people familiar with them and with the investigation. To many conservatives, that sentence is vindication. They believe Democrats and the media downplayed the laptop's existence and contents to help President Biden win the election. Following the Times story, the New York Post blared in a headline, Hunter Biden's infamous laptop confirmed in New York Times report. Senator Tom Cotton tweeted, the New York Times admits what we've known for years. The Hunter Biden laptop story was true. Big tech censorship of the story was a disgrace. Charlie Kirk wrote on Telegram, the same journalist telling you the biolab story is simply Russian propaganda, used the exact same playbook when it came to the Hunter Biden laptop story, and look how that ended up. Also, it is the same thing as the biolabs thing. Like, it's conservatives taking a grain of truth and running with some nonsense to suit their needs. Glenn Greenwald. I already know the excuses for ignoring this now. I'll list them below, but regardless of whether the corporate media will again ignores the proof, now from New York Times, that they printed lies to manipulate the election, this disinformation censorship campaign is of historic importance. This is the story I covered from the start because of how much corruption it revealed. The corporate press and big tech used a blatant CIA lie to claim an authentic archive was false. Yes, there's a war going on. There always is. But these events are vital, Glenn Greenwald says. And now what I assume will be the coup de grace of all the right-wing takes on this. Ladies and gentlemen, content warning. It's Ben motherfucking Shapiro. The Pope of the Jews.
You'll recall that just before the 2020 election, October 2020, the New York Post broke a story. It was about how...
I ain't high enough for Ben Shapiro.
Formerly drug-addicted derelict. Now he may not be a drug addict. He's still a derelict. Hunter Biden, now...
Curious
at that time, a drug-addicted derelict. He left his laptop at a Delaware repair shop and just left it there because this is what drug-addicted derelicts do. And it turns out that that laptop was filled with all sorts of good stuff about Hunter Biden, including pictures of him with prostitutes and smoking crack. And there were text messages between him and his dad and him and his business partners about his dad and all this stuff. And the New York Post reported this. And you will also recall that social media immediately cracked down on it. Facebook said, sure, this has not been subjected to a fact check yet, but
I do not recall that, Ben, because me doing a show on Facebook, YouTube, at the time, the Troll Patrol was still very much in its infancy. I was doing the show. I talked about that story every time there was a new development, every time we had some former Navy SEAL going on with Tucker Carlson to give some wild-ass interview. We watched that interview. We covered that story. Your claims of censorship are just false.
We're going to shadow ban it. We're going to reduce its distribution because...
Oh, it was shadow banned.
Now, what
it wasn't actually taken down. You could talk about it.
Biden and it was bad. That's what looked suspicious. Because the notion that it was completely unthinkable that a doof like Hunter Biden would have just left a laptop at a Delaware repair shop, that's not particularly unthinkable. But the entire media instead swiveled into action to declare that this was in fact Russian disinformation, because everything I don't like is Russian disinformation. Every single thing. When
Does Ben dye his eyebrows?
4 pounds more than I was just a couple of weeks ago, that is Russian disinformation. I don't know how they hacked my scale. I just know what I know. And that's precisely what happened with the Hunter Biden story. And so it was disappeared off Facebook. And if you posted it on Twitter, you were disappeared off Twitter. The New York Post account on Twitter was actually banned. It was closed down for like a month. It was suspended based on an overtly true story where there was no one even rebutting it. And the Biden administration, the Biden campaign, Hunter, none of them actually even denied that the story was true. They just kind of pretended that it was Russian disinformation. And the entire media...
Was there a poll? Did you actually do a poll?
Important that Joe Biden win the election. And you wouldn't want 1 month out people to be talking about how Hunter Biden was stripping prostitutes and picking up giant bags of cash based on the fact that his last name was Biden. And you certainly wouldn't want anybody talking about the fact that Hunter Biden was chatting with his friends over in China about who the big guy was, and the big guy was going to have reserve.
I mean, the circumference of a circle is pi. That's overtly true, right? That's what I like, that's what I always like to point to as like a universal truth. Like, some things exceed, like, on every planet, the circumference of a circle is always going to be pi. No matter what the laws of physics, however you change it, the circle is always going to be pi. It's one of those universals. So is that what you mean? Overtly true.
Reserved capital and reserved percentage points in businesses.
Sex work is work.
About that, so you just made the story go away. And so you saw establishment media personalities, one after another, come out and say that the story was just fake. It was made up by the Russians. MSNBC executive producer Kyle Griffin, who's a wild leftist, he tweeted, the Trump campaign claims Facebook is censoring journalism because Facebook plans to limit the spread of the New York Post report. That is not censorship. Facebook is under no obligation to allow a disputed report that appears to contain disinformation to spread on their platform. Now remember, this entire media apparatus has spent 4 years promoting the lie that Donald Trump was in fact a tool of the Russians and that the Steele dossier, which it turns out was just a bevy of garbage.
We just heard his national security advisor say that he was a puppet of Putin. We just heard, Ben, do you think we're stupid? Do you think we're fools?
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Was actually maybe true. We don't know. It's disputed. We don't know, but it's newsworthy, so we have to report it. Yeah, the managing editor of truthaurfiction.com.
Am I leaning on my spacebar?
Tweeting out, the great thing about this is that it's very easy to see who's committed to pushing known Kremlin disinformation. You had Ben Rhodes, former Obama official, tweeting out, the right to spread false Russian disinformation about American political leaders on social media platforms is not the hill I would choose to die on. You had Brian Stelter putting out entire stories about how this was all Russian disinformation targeting Biden.
I don't know, like Facebook does that sometimes.
Tweeting out, we do know it's a very active Russian campaign, and that's according to the U.S. intelligence community. Ooh. Jim Sciutto of CNN.
Freaks
he said
me
this
out.
is most likely Russian propaganda. You'll recall that there was an entire letter in Politico from 50 former intelligence officials.
Seriously, those are not his real eyebrows. He's got like eyebrow extensions, or he's fucking dyeing them or something, right? Well, thank you, Star Craving. I feel like I'm kind of dressed down, like I'm just. I don't wear this bandana often.
Officials, which, by the way, tells you why we don't trust our intelligence apparatus anymore, because it turns out that all of the people in our intelligence apparatus, or at least a huge chunk of them, are just mental idiots. I mean, it's amazing. According to Politico, more than 50 former senior officials, intelligence officials, signed on to a letter outlining their belief at the recent disclosure of emails allegedly belonging to...
Okay, so if the intelligence officials are just all numbskulls, or whatever the fuck Ben called them, can we get rid of them? Can we get rid of the NSA? Can we get rid of the FBI? Can we get rid of the CIA? I always come at Republicans, right-wingers. They're like, oh, I want to limit the size of government. I'm like, all right, let me tell you the shit I want to hack and slash away. Let's do it. Let's get rid of the ATF. There's no fucking use for it. Let's get rid of the Department of Homeland Security. I have a feeling that Ben would freak out. And what's that American flag on his desk? It's a weird-looking symbol. Is that like the Daily Wire symbol or some shit? Why is this set always different when it's so fucking expensive? God damn, the money propping up right-wing commentators is insane.
Joe Biden's son has, quote, all the classic hallmarks of a Russian disinformation operation. The letter, signed on Monday, centers around a batch of documents released by the New York Post last week that purport to tie the Democratic nominee to his son Hunter's.
Maybe they've just always been unruly.
The letter's signatories presented no new evidence, But they said their national security experience had made them deeply suspicious that the Russian government played a significant role in this case, and cited several elements of the story that suggested the Kremlin's hand at work. And on the basis of these brilliant intelligence officials who had their thumb on the pulse of the intelligence flow, they knew this was Russian disinformation, despite the fact that they had no evidence it was Russian disinformation. And no less than Joe Biden came out and said over and over and over that this was all nonsense. It just was not true. So, for example, Joe Biden said there was no controversy involving Hunter. Anyone who said there was controversy involving Hunter was just crazy.
Japan of ignorance.
Questions and controversy continues today about Hunter Biden, your son's.
There is no controversy about my son.
Dealing. Just
all
questions.
I don't know. My left testicle is starting to hurt. Ben Shapiro made my balls hurt. Ben Shapiro made my balls hurt.
It's a flat lie because the president has nothing else to run on.
Oh, so it was all lies. It was flat out lies. And he didn't just say it once, many, many times. Here he was, just a little bit later.
Oh, that was back during the 2020 campaign. We're flashing back to him denying the Hunter Biden story during the campaign.
And there was no evidence that anything was wrong that Hunter had done, ever.
Making fun of this old man and his family.
Nothing. Hunter Biden was clean as the driven snow that he was snorting. Here was Joe Biden saying this on Axios.
So you think that everything that happened was kosher?
You know there's not one single bit of evidence, not one little tiny bit, to suggest anything done was wrong. You know that. But you keep asking me these questions. It's okay. You're doing what you have to do. But I'm not worried about it.
I don't know what the question was.
Yes, we do. Yerp. And suddenly you have lots and lots of houses all over the place after spending a lifetime in the Senate, earning $200,000 a year. So yeah, I mean, people have some
lots and lots of houses.
Said, well, no one in this family will be taking overseas deals, said Joe Biden.
He has one in Delaware, doesn't he?
Interesting. Weird.
What guardrails would you have to be sure that your son, your brother Jimmy, doesn't do anything to trade on the family name?
They will not be engaged in any foreign business because of what's happened in this administration. No one's going to be seeking patents for things from China. No one's going to be engaged in that kind of thing.
So, are you sure they might not be,
correct,
painting pictures?
And he's not doing that because Hunter has some sort of corrupt history of, going around and just picking up grift from a bunch of foreign countries like China and Ukraine. No. He's doing it as a reaction to Trump's corruption. That's
pick up grift
right here. Joe Biden said during the campaign there was no conflict of interest with Hunter's Ukraine relations. None. Sure, Joe Biden was overseeing relations with Ukraine at the time when Hunter was picking up those giant bags of cash in Ukraine. But there was no conflict of interest, said Joe Biden. Again, all Russian disinformation, all of it.
What was your role as vice president in charge of policy in Ukraine and your son's job in Ukraine? How is that not a conflict of interest?
It's not a conflict of interest. There's been no indication of any conflict of interest from Ukraine or anywhere else. Period. I'm not going to respond to that.
He's not even going to respond to that. Not even going to respond. Well, as Charles,
he should have got angry about it. He should have just dealt with
Joe
it.
Biden is Hunter Biden's
part
father.
of the
He
job.
must have known full well the story wasn't a bunch of garbage. He must have known full well it wasn't a Russian plant. He must have known full well Rudy Giuliani wasn't the only one who believed it. Hell, he knew full well Hunter Biden himself hadn't denied the account.
I think Ben Shapiro might be a sociopath. I don't think he fucking
because he assumed that the press and
thinks about other people
in the lie, which of course they did. And Joe Biden literally said this, quote, "There are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plant. 5 former heads of the CIA, both parties, say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage. No one believes it except his good friend Rudy Giuliani." That was Joe Biden lying because he knew all of it was true. Now, you recall that Jen Psaki, who was working on...
You think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Knew all of it was true. Notice how right-wingers... That's not what the New York Times reported. Some of the emails had been verified as authentic. That is what the New York Times said. But that gets taken completely blown up. Everything has been proven true. We're vindicated to the right-wingers.
Biden campaign during this time. She came...
Simon Lebowski, thank you for being a freaking follower.
She shared
Welcome.
that article on Twitter, the one that had all these former...
I'm not high enough for Ben Shapiro.
So in the know, and so we should definitely trust them. Saying, quote, "Hunter Biden's story is Russian disinfo," dozens of former intel officials say. That's what she tweeted out. So Jen Psaki was asked about this yesterday, given the fact that, again, the New York Times did report it. It was in paragraph 24. I'm not kidding. Paragraph 24 of this long, long story about Hunter Biden's problems with IRS scrutiny.
Yes, they wrote about the investigation into him. It was paragraph 24, even though it was headline fucking news for right-wingers, and they are still talking about it, making memes about it. That's all they're fucking talking about.
Finally, it is admitted that this was not, in fact, Russian.
And Leah Thomas.
It was, in fact, real. That the laptop belonged to Hunter Biden, and that he did, in fact, leave it at this Delaware repair shop. Quote, people familiar with the investigation said prosecutors had examined emails between Biden, Mr. Archer, and others about Burisma and other foreign business activity. Those emails were obtained by the New York Times from a cache of files that appears to have come from a laptop abandoned by Mr. Biden.
Yes, I have seen Ben Shapiro's movie.
The email and others in the cache were authenticated by people familiar with them and with the investigation. Yeah, so there it is, just buried in paragraph 24. Now, normally what you would assume is that the top headline here would be, New York Times confirms laptop was not Russian disinformation. Instead, the headline from the New York Times was, Hunter Biden paid tax bill, but broad federal investigation continues. It's all unjustified. He's a good guy. He paid back the back taxes that he owed years later after
with a loan,
selling his art for $500,000.
Apparently, he took out a loan to pay off the tax bill.
Jen Psaki was asked about the fact that she had said it was Russian disinformation, and she started spinning so fast that she actually dug a hole directly through the center of the Earth, discovering a renewable source of energy in the heat in the Earth's core.
You're asked about Hunter Biden's laptop. You also, in October...
A little dramatic there, wasn't that, Ben?
...as Russian disinformation. Do you stand by that assessment?
Again, I'd point you to the Department of Justice and Hunter Biden's representatives. I'm a spokesperson for the United States. He doesn't work for the United States.
That was not the question, you may have noticed. And then I'm just going to go to this.
Spin so far down into the ground. She is the spokesperson for the United States. That was a good answer. That was a very good answer to that question that they shouldn't have to deal with because it has nothing to do with the running of the country.
It's been fun. Isn't it fun that we are supposed to believe that all of the mechanisms of electoral integrity are on the up and up when it comes to the information?
Trump kid.
The argument that the 2020 election was rigged by voting fraud, for example, is overrated. That the evidence that this election was shifted by somebody stuffing the ballot box was not true. However, if you're going to say the election was rigged, it was rigged by a media that deliberately obfuscated and openly lied in order to suppress information about Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, for example, that deliberately refused to ask Joe Biden any tough questions and allowed him to hide in the basement for months at a time. And then are we really surprised that this administration is a bleep show? It was never held to account. And here's the thing. People in the media tend to think that when they go soft on their own candidates, this is good for their candidates. In reality, all that ends up happening is that reality clocks the administration directly in the face. So instead of asking Joe Biden any tough questions about his foreign policy or his ideas or his background or his relationships or anything, they hated Trump so much that they just decided to basically lie about everything and cover everything up. And in the case of social media...
No, nobody suppressed it. We all talked about it when it was going on. We gave it the proper attention that it deserved. There was no suppressing of anything. I am tired of right-wingers just fucking constantly harping on just nonsense and then accusing everybody else of not paying attention to the nonsense they're peddling. Yeah, like even okay, so we've already you seem to have gotten here a little late. So we've already covered this fact that the New York Times story did not say what Ben Shapiro is asserting that it said. So it's not the story that Ben Shapiro is making it out to be. There's been some of the emails have been authenticated. I always cover everything, but I'm just saying you're wrong. Twitter can do whatever the fuck they want. They're a private company. They have their own agenda. Maybe it was politically motivated. I don't give a shit what Twitter does. Huge story. Huge. No. What was it? What was the name of the dude? Tony Babaluke? Was the dude Mama Luke? Tony Mama Luke or whatever the dude's name was? Gave the interview to Tucker Carlson. We watched that shit. I laughed my ass off. You guys get your panties in a wad, and I'm not making fun of people that wear panties. I wear them. Usually hard drugs are involved, but I wear panties on occasion. I have a couple of really cute pairs. You guys get your panties in a wad over fucking nonsense. One disadvantage of capitalism, goddamn, how long you got? I'll tell you all kinds of disadvantages of capitalism. Corporates having power over people is literally capitalism. It's not one disadvantage. That's literally the fucking system. Capitalism means private ownership. One disadvantage. That's literally the system. That is the premise that the system is based on. Not a disadvantage of capitalism. You're describing capitalism. Now, I'm not a socialist or a communist or what have you. I'm not a capitalist either. I'm plenty of the people that come in here into my chat and call me a commie or socialist. I'm far more capitalistic than they are because I file my taxes as a small business owner. But I understand economics. I know we're all mixed economies as to what degree. I think capitalism works fine on like the micro level. You got a few shops competing with each other in a town. Several Italian restaurants competing with each other to make sure who's the best and shit. That's fine and dandy. Capitalism don't work on a countrywide fucking scale when you've got gigantic ass corporations that have way too much goddamn power. That's capitalism. When the mega corporations can do whatever the fuck they want, that's capitalism. And the more unfettered and unregulated you make capitalism, the more power you give the mega corporations to do whatever the fuck they want. I wouldn't consider myself a communist. Once again, I think it's more nuanced than that. I'm a Burkean conservative. The system, like, certain industries should be nationalized. Energy, medical, pharmaceuticals. But you wanna have fucking TV stations competing with each other in the market? That's probably a good thing. That probably does create better content with TV stations competing with each other on ratings or something. Fucking capitalism works best on frivolous goods, fucking luxury items, not necessities. There has to be like a basic bottom. That's where I'm communistic. You have to care for everyone's basic needs. Once you provide everyone's basic needs, it makes the fucking world a lot better for everyone else around us. Capitalism will be a hell of a lot better if you provide for everyone's basic needs. What do you mean we're moving into the decentralized web? The web is far more centralized than what it's ever been. Fucking it's more people are on less websites than ever fucking before, even though there's more people on the internet. Every goddamn person is on Facebook, Amazon, eBay, Google. Used to be a tapestry of different forums and places you could go to. Basic bottom. Angel Fire. Odyssey sucks, dude. I put my content up there. That is a shit ass fucking platform. Rumble, shit ass fucking platform. BitChute, shit ass fucking platform. Hey, more power to it. Like fucking, I love Wikipedia. I love open source shit. That's why I have an Android. I'm not leading shit. I don't know what fucking world you live in. Fucking people are watching me on YouTube right now. Ain't nobody fucking watching me on Odyssey. Get about 7 views a week. Oh. So, the Biden administration had a good idea, so of course they didn't fucking do it. Seriously, most people are on like a fucking handful of websites. 2 handfuls. Netflix, Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. The internet is being funneled through fucking apps to you. Most people don't even surf. Like, most people probably aren't even watching me right now on a TV. I watch other people on Twitch on my TV. Like, most people are on their phones. Oh, God, we got somebody talking about politically correct. Fucking politically correct. Oh, Mandy was watching on TV. Now she's on her phone. Welcome, Mandy. Yeah, Trump Kid, you want to call in? I don't have phone lines open. We can make that happen. Or you can hop in the Discord. If you hop in the Discord, though. The Debate Freakin' channel. You gotta tell me you're there. Hey. Hey. Why is your screen name Trump Kid? 2022. Is Don Jr. running for something in 2022? I'm glad you agree with most of what I'm saying. That's fucking cool. I see Trump and I just automatically assume. I shall see. I hear that a lot from right-wingers, and I promise you, I don't ever see. Borg wants a good debate. I mean, they would have to take the Senate, and I gave you guys my election rundown. I'm pretty sure the Democrats are actually going to pick up seats in the Senate. So, no Trump for Speaker. I mean, I guess they could still make Trump Speaker, but Trump doesn't want to be Speaker. He wants to be President. I ain't got nothing to debate with you. Debate about how you need to play some, like, newer video games. Are you still playing Skyrim? I've got a few friends that are like, they play the same games over and over again. And it tends to be like Bethesda games, like a Skyrim or a Fallout. Like, I got a friend that keeps playing Fallout 4. I'm like, man, there are better games. Let me play Witcher 3. Play Witcher 3. Don't play Fallout 4 no more. Let me recommend a game to you. Friends don't let friends play bad games. And like, hey, I played Fallout 4 once. Hey, Porg, I will get on the Elden Ring, but like I don't pay full price for video games unless it's something like I really, really want. It's a Hideo Kojima game coming out. Or it's a Final Fantasy. I don't even know if Final Fantasy would do it for me anymore. Game shaming. No. Look, well, I played Fallout 4. I played Fallout 4. I was actually trying to tell Sparkle. Like fucking Raymond was playing Fallout 4. And we walked by and I'm like, he's playing Fallout 4. And then I started to tell Sparkles the story about of what went on in Fallout 4, and she shushed me. Because I thought it was interesting that, like, you know, the cryogenic freezing and, like, oh, I don't want to give away any spoilers if anybody. Mute yourself for, like, fucking 10 seconds if you don't want spoilers for Fallout 4. You get cryogenically froze, and then somebody comes and gets in your pod and steals your kid from you, and then like you head back to the pod and you don't know how long you've been in there and shit, and like all the indications are that your kid is like, you know, like 10 or something like that, but like you meet your kid and he's a fucking old man. Your kid is older than you. I ran somebody off talking about it. I just thought that's a cool setup. I never, apparently, like, you know, in the canon, he is your kid. I never accepted that was actually my kid. I thought they were kind of mind fucking me. I'm always skeptical of everything, though. Oh shit! If you muted yourself to avoid Fallout 4 spoilers, which I didn't spoil the game, it was more the setup to the game. But also, that's a big reveal within like the first 10 hours, maybe. I didn't like any of the groups. I went with the Institute. I didn't like the ending. That could be one of the things that like ruined it for me. Like, fuck this game. I didn't like the ending. The White House considered sending Americans gas cards. White House considered giving Americans gas cards to help offset high gas prices, but faced strong opposition from congressional committees which questioned the plan's viability and effectiveness. First of all, I respect you for questioning a effectiveness of a program, but in terms of just sheer publicity of PR for an administration that is underwater, they should have done it. That's the effectiveness, is that it looks like they're doing something on gas prices. And they are actually giving people fucking money. The Biden administration is feeling political pressure from high energy costs made worse by Western sanctions against Russia, and Democrats desperately want to offer some kind of policy response. Blaze, welcome. Thank you for being a freaking follower. White House this week considered having the IRS send gas cards to Americans, a short-lived idea that some key House Democrats vehemently opposed. House Democrats! God damn. The idea, fucking don't want to help yourself going into the 2022 midterm. Fuck all the way off. The idea came up as part of a broader package to address gas prices, which still in its early stages, a senior Democratic aide told Axios. House Democratic Counsel on Wednesday laid out for the White House a list of reasons why gas cards would be a bad idea, including it would be expensive and poorly targeted, it could worsen inflation and wouldn't do much to lower costs, delivering the cards would be a slow process that could bog down the IRS in the middle of the filing season, potentially delaying people's tax returns. Well, then just do a direct deposit then. Just give everybody give everybody a couple $100. Jesus Christ. Now look over at the chat and I see Start Craving say, then I found it and now I can double fist it. And I don't know what she's talking about double fisting. Oh, weed vape pen. Okay. There's a variety of ideas being discussed to ensure that the costs of American families are feeling at the pump are as minimal as possible, the White House spokesperson Vedant Patel told Axios. However, gas cards being sent to the American people is not seriously under consideration. It is not an administratively feasible solution, and the Biden administration is not considering this as a serious option to help American families. Would have been a great PR move. Oh. Speaking of term limits, Alaska Representative Dong Young, the longest serving member of Congress, dies at 88. Yeah, no one brought up term limits. I shoehorned that one in, didn't I? The way he's wearing his mask makes me like, at least it's covering his mouth and his nose, but goddamn, why are Republicans so goddamn dumb? And this was the oldest member of Congress. No, I'm sorry, the longest serving member of Congress. For those of you listening to the audio, he has the mask more over his nose, and it's covering his mouth, but it's on his chin instead of being under his chin and being like conformed to his face the way it should be. See, there's little pockets on the side where air escapes, kind of defeats the purpose of the mask. Now, he's wearing a surgical mask. It has a bendy band in the nose. You're supposed to conform that to your face and make it as tight of a seal as possible. That's why it goes under your goddamn chin, you stupid fuck. I'm sorry, he's dead. I shouldn't speak ill of the dead, should I? Even if they are a dumb fuck. Alaska Republican Representative Don Young, the longest serving member of Congress in either party, has died according to staffers in his family. I should be laughing when I'm reading his. I shouldn't be laughing while I'm reading about his death. Sorry, Don. It's with heavy hearts and deep sadness that we announce Congressman Don Young. I'm sorry. Okay. Maybe I am high enough for this shit. I got a case of the giggles. My cushion's falling out of my chair. I cracked myself up talking about it. It's not funny. It's with a heavy hearts and deep sadness that we announce Congressman Don Young, the Dean of the House and revered champion for Alaska, passed away today while traveling home to Alaska to be with the state and people that he loved. Young's office said in a statement his beloved wife, Anne, was by his side. He was first elected to the House in 1973 during the Nixon administration. He was reelected in 2020 to serve his 25th term. We need to get these old fucks out of here. You don't need to be dying in office. Get the fuck out of here. We need new blood in politics. I'm sorry you died, dude, but like shit. At least your seat's open now. You did not need to be reelected. God damn. Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson will appear before the Senate tomorrow. Senate Judiciary Committee is the start of the hearings. I'm still on my first page of notes, and we are 2 hours into this, and I'm on my second page of notes, and I have 4 pages. God damn. That's what I get for not being on for a couple of nights. We got a lot of news to cover. We got a lot of shit we got to talk about.
Committee starting tomorrow morning to kick off 4 days of confirmation hearings. Jackson is the first black woman ever nominated to the High Court, and if confirmed by the evenly divided Senate, she will be the first black woman to serve on the court. Jackson has spent the month so far meeting with Democratic and Republican senators.
And the hearings, which again begin tomorrow, will give Brown Jackson the chance to publicly explain how she approaches cases and what she believes is her role in the Supreme Court.
The sporty ball.
Insight into the hearings, we're joined right now by Cal State Long Beach.
All I know about the March Madness is that apparently UK lost. I'm from Kentucky, and a lot of people are really, really fucking butthurt about it.
Professor Jason Whitehead, thank you so much for joining us this morning. A lot of questions to get to.
I always see the Kentucky butthurt.
We know that Brown Jackson, she's been making the rounds on Capitol Hill prior to tomorrow's hearing. She's been talking with members on both sides of the aisle. Can you kind of break down what we can expect tomorrow? And again, as we mentioned, this is 4 days of hearings.
Yeah,
I have misplaced my bowl.
Is traditionally a day and scheduled to be so this way, where there are introductions being made. She's going to be introduced by some handpicked people, some very friendly people, to introduce her record, to introduce her background. She's going to be able to make an open.
He looks like a whitehead.
First chance to address the Judiciary Committee, and then all 22 members of the Senate Judiciary Committee, 11 Republicans, 11 Democrats.
What a fitting name.
Make opening statements as well. So mostly a formality, but you usually get a good chance to get a read on how a nominee is handled.
That's like if my last name was like Justin Hippie Ass Hair.
Ready. And what will this really mean for the balance of the Supreme Court if she is confirmed?
Really not much, because Justice Breyer...
Yeah, nothing. Doesn't mean nothing.
Justice voted very consistently with the liberal wing of the court. We have every indication that Ketanji Brown Jackson will also vote with the liberal wing of the court on those constitutional issues where political difference really does matter on the court. So it won't matter as far as the breakdown, but Republicans have been pretty serious about playing hardball with the Supreme Court. It's a major issue for their...
And it does look like they're going to do everything they can to try to block her.
It's not as high on their list of priorities. So it's still possible that they could try to play hardball with this seat and really try to force a couple of errors on the other side and get some Democrats to vote against her.
And here's really the big question. Can Brown Jackson, can she actually be confirmed without Republican support? What do you see happening here?
She absolutely can be. If the Democrats hold together, it's a 50-50.
She can be confirmed without Republican support. She can't make it out of committee without Republican support. You have to have one person on the Judiciary Committee vote for her. Good luck with that, because I've shown the list several times here on the show. It's fucking Josh Hawley. It's Lindsey Graham. It is not anybody that you're going to get to vote for this woman.
Senate, and because of some recent changes on the way that the United States Senate votes on Supreme Court nominees, you only need a simple majority. And so you could easily have 50 Democrats voting for her, 50 Republicans voting against her, and the Vice President Kamala Harris, would then cast the tie-breaking vote. Republicans obviously are hoping it doesn't go that way. They're hoping they can get at least one Democrat.
Oh, I wonder why Republicans don't like her.
But we'll see what happens.
And what can we expect in these hearings compared to, say, the last few that we've seen?
Lindsey Graham voted for her for the federal bench.
In prior hearings, the number one thing is you're trying to get the justice to commit to a particular judicial philosophy, which has clear implications for certain cases. Take abortion, for example. In the case of recent nominee Amy Coney Barrett, she had written some things that indicated the way she was going to vote on that.
It looks like they're going to go after her. Like she was on like a sentencing guideline committee or some shit. I don't even remember like the details now. I should have pulled this up. And like one of these panels she was on like approved, and like it was a panel of judges, and they approved too many like pedophile releases or some shit. That's literally what the Republicans are going to go after her about. It's bullshit.
That or gun rights or things like that. So you're looking into her record to try to examine whether or
being
not
too lenient on sex offenders.
Vote as a justice. She's not going to indicate that in the hearing. She's going to stay very mum about the way that she would vote, as every other justice has for the past 15 to 20 years. But there might be some things that they can find in her background as a public defender and other things that may, they're hoping may trip her up.
All right. Well, all eyes will be watching tomorrow as they begin.
Because they tried to stick her with the the defending a Guantanamo inmate, but like she was assigned that. She couldn't even help that. Like I wanted to give her props for doing it. I thought she did it to do it, and like no, it was just like she was assigned to do that. Moving to the Ohio Senate primary. Seth Rollins ripped me off. There's a video on my YouTube. Go check it out. Let you know everything about how Seth Rollins has ripped off my character. He even went back to calling himself Seth freaking Rollins. Motherfucker. I'm not over that. I changed my name because of him. No, I like Justin freaking better anyway. Is he? I asked my friend if they had seen him going on Jimmy Fallon and curb stomping the leprechaun. And like he laughed and danced. Like that's his character now. He laughs and dances, and I don't like he's doing the bat dance out there. What the fuck? Might as well have Prince write a soundtrack for this motherfucker. He's all over the place. And he Hold on. We're gonna take a little break here. We're gonna won't be able to play the audio because they'll pop me. For showing their shit. NBC will. Hold on. We'll get you the clip over here. Watch it. I'll show you who Seth Rollins is. What? And he dances and he laughs. That's Seth Rollins. He dances and he laughs. I don't know if you can call that a character. And he calls himself Seth freaking Rollins. Which I've had copyrighted for years. Help me sue Seth Rollins. Go watch the video. Do I actually watch wrestling? Yes. Yes, I do. I don't follow the WWE as much anymore. I'll watch the pay-per-views pretty much every month. Not every month. Like, I didn't watch all of Elimination Chamber. I think I fell asleep during the Rumble. I fell asleep during okay, AEW was just too fucking long. I fell asleep during their pay-per-view. Now, in terms of watching weekly shows, I do usually watch Dynamite. Like, I have Dynamite from each week. I may skim through it, but I don't. There's not enough wrestling for me to be an avid fan right now. But I fell asleep. And Curiouser was here with me. We fell asleep during the main event. There's a problem, and like not necessarily with the quality of your wrestling, but if you've got people falling asleep during the main event. Seth Rollins is a big-time star in big-time wrestling. He would be in like the WWE's top 5. Maybe even like top 3. He's one of their most well-paid superstars. He's also married to one of their top stars, Becky Lynch. And Seth Rollins, since we're doing it, I'll show you proof Seth Rollins stole his shtick from me. Here you go. You can watch it yourself. This is WWE superstar and multiple-time champion Seth Rollins. Seth is one of the top wrestlers in the industry, and never in a million years would I expect that Seth... So here's the thing, that was my old microphone. This one sounds so much better. Seth would be spying on me, or at least following me on social media. You see, a few years ago, around 2015 or 2016, Seth started referring to himself as
Seth freaking Rollins.
Now, Justin, you may say, your name is Justin Freakin. That's not very similar. And you'd be right. But I actually rebranded myself as Justin Freakin after Rollins blatantly stole my gimmick. Before last year, I went by
Justin Freakin Mullins. Justin Freakin Mullins.
Justin Freakin Mullins.
I am on film and audio, calling myself Justin Freakin Mullins several years before Seth Rollins. And if we take a trip in the Wayback Machine, we can see that I've actually been using the appellative since I was in high school. If this was Seth's only offense, I might let it slide. But recently he started referring to himself as
The Monday Night Messiah.
I wonder where I have heard something like that before.
I am the new media messiah.
I am the new media messiah.
Self-proclaimed new media messiah.
The new media messiah.
So, Seth, since you and the WWE are clearly paying attention to me, consider this video your cease and desist to stop infringing on my intellectual property, and issue me a check for a cut of that sweet merchandise money. Obviously, you and the WWE are big fans of my ideas, so maybe you should offer me a slot on the creative team. Anyone who has watched Raw in the past decade knows you could use the help. And if you're watching this video and you're not Seth Rollins, check out the links below to learn how you can contribute to my legal fund. So there you go. Seth Rollins stole my shit. Doing it for 20 fucking years. Had to change my character because of Seth Rollins. Fuck Seth Rollins. And I like the guy. I was a Tyler Black fan. He comes along and he dances and he laughs now and he's stomping on leprechauns. What the fuck? Speaking of fussing and fighting, Ohio GOP Senate debate turns nasty as Gibbons and Mandel go nose to nose. Oh no, this is a much better brand of microphone. This is a much better setup. That other microphone was a USB plug-and-play microphone. It was a condenser mic, but this is like an actual nice studio condenser mic that's running into a board. The other one was just a USB cord that plugged into the computer. I upgraded my whole setup. That's what I use my coronavirus stimulus money on. Who's more of a Trump bootlegger? Apparently one of them's a pussy. Ohio GOP Senate debate turns nasty as Gibbons and Mandel go nose to nose. The two Republicans are the polling frontrunners. They got in each other's face on Friday night. We do have the video. Thank you, Politico.
I can
You
tell you,
filed that with the Federal Elections Commission. You own stock in Chinese Petro.
I personally didn't buy the stock.
You made millions off it, sir.
I don't think I made millions off of anything.
Dude, I love it. Call them out for buying stocks. Call out that fucking corruption. But, like, I'm assuming you're corrupt, too, or you wouldn't be there.
I'd love to have made millions off of Chinese Petro. First of all,
Shanghai Shenda and Chinese Petro.
Buying a second, you may not understand this because you've never been in the no, you don't.
I do.
You've never been in the private sector in your
all right,
entire life.
I've worked, sir.
Josh, squat. About
2 tours in Iraq. Don't tell me I haven't worked. Don't tell me I haven't worked.
You don't know squat.
It's okay, right?
You don't know squat.
RB, I thought so, but also, like, I was hoping there would be more. I was going to put a green screen in.
2 tours in Iraq. Don't tell me I haven't worked.
Back off, buddy. You're gonna
You back off.
Come on. Never that'll happen.
Sit down.
Never.
Watch.
Yeah.
Watch.
We'll square it away with the
wrong
dude.
No, you're dealing with the wrong guy. You watch what happens. Pussy. You watch what happens.
Pussy. Did you guys hear it?
All right, guys.
Somebody said, God damn, this is ridiculous.
You filed that with the Federal.
Is that Gibbons? Oh, fuck. What the fuck?
COVID.
We didn't ask for Jin Psaki. What the hell? Fucking with us here. Let's rewind. This is Gibbons, I believe, and then this is Mendel, the young up and comer.
You don't know squat.
It's okay, right?
You don't know squat.
2 tours in Iraq. Don't tell me I haven't worked.
I'm assuming he's in the vein of like a Madison Cawthorn type of young upstart Republican.
Buddy, you're gonna
You back off.
Come on. Never that'll happen.
Sit down.
Never.
Watch.
Yeah.
Watch.
We'll square it away with the wrong dude.
No, you're dealing with the wrong guy. You watch what happens. Pussy. You watch what happens.
Sit down. Come on.
All right, guys.
Oh, shush, RB. I did it again. How the fuck did I do that?
COVID, we finally saw this week.
There, you get a look at Jin Psaki for a second. Oh, god damn. So much more news to talk about. Senator Kirsten Sinema is reportedly as confusing to Biden as TikTok is. I think she's confusing to all of us. This is from Vanity Fair. The mercurial Arizona Democrat mocked Biden and described herself as anti-government. The mercurial. Always love the word mercurial. She mocked Biden and described herself as anti-government and anti-tax at a closed-door GOP-heavy fundraiser. This is according to a forthcoming book by 2 New York Times reporters. Look at that smug look on her face. New details have emerged about Senator Kirsten Sinema's strained relationship with President Joe Biden, including the time she reportedly fought with White House aides about the need to mask up in the presence of the then septuagenarian president last spring. Septuagenarian. There we go. According to This Will Not Pass, a forthcoming book about the Biden-Harris administration. Are we far enough into the Biden-Harris administration to write a book? Written by New York Times reporters Jonathan Martin and Alexander Burns, the Democratic senator from Arizona repeatedly asked why, if she'd already been vaccinated, it was necessary to wear a mask, and in doing so earned the title of the first ever lawmaker to argue with Biden's staff over the requested precaution. Mask argument is among various insights into Biden and Sinema's dealings, as reported by Axios' Inside Look Wednesday. Well, the reason, and this would have been spring last year, and there was still some confusion. I think we, the population here on the Troll Patrol, not to toot our own horns about how smart we are over here, I think we were aware that you could still pass the virus on even though you were vaccinated, so that wearing a mask was still a good thing. It's still a good thing. I think we have lifted restrictions far too quickly, and I think we're already starting to see a tick up in cases. I hope I'm fucking wrong. I hope we do not go the way of Asia. Europe is seeing an increase in cases. It's gonna suck. Gonna suck if we have a summer where we're not like free and out and about. Especially if it's a strain that's more vaccine resistant and more virulent. Mask argument is among various insights into Biden and Sinema's dealings. Sinema, a centrist who has held up major pieces of Biden's agenda, including proposals to raise taxes on corporations and wealthy individuals, both of which she opposes, has seemingly found herself more at ease in Republican circles than liberal ones. She's often found chatting with Republican senators in the Senate chamber, too. The Democrat, who mostly refuses to talk to the press, reportedly marketed herself as anti-government and anti-tax at a private Washington fundraiser. It was at this GOP heavy lobbyist event, reported for the first time in the book, where Sinema also mocked Biden, praised House GOP leader Kevin McCarthy, and defended Representative Andy Biggs, the conspiracy-inclined House Republican who declined the election results and blamed the FBI for the January 6 attacks on the Capitol. I know some people think he's crazy, but that's just because they don't know him, Sinema said of her fellow Arizonian. I love Andy Biggs. Wow. I hate it. I hate it when people say they're anti-government and they're running for office. If you're anti-government, then you have no business trying to get inside of government to ruin it. Fuck. Sinema's fundraising habits and the ire it caused Democrats is not new. At the height of Build Back Better negotiations last fall, as lawmakers were scrambling to find a path forward for Biden's social spending and tax priorities, as well as the bipartisan infrastructure bill, Sinema left town to fundraise with business lobbies and corporate groups that notably were working against Biden's agenda. Details reported Wednesday are likely only to add to Biden's vexation with Sinema, which, according to the Gray Lady Duo, I don't know who the Gray Lady Duo is. I don't know why we should trust the Gray Lady Duo. Just because you are old and gray does not mean, and a duo does not mean that you are knowledgeable. Just look at fucking Diamond and Silk. You don't just trust them because they're a duo. But apparently Biden has acknowledged his vexation in private. One person close to the president likened Biden's perplexity at Sinema to his difficulty grasping his grandchildren's use of TikTok. Right in the book, he wanted to relate, but he just didn't quite get it. Oh, God. So he's got like his grandchildren like sitting on the couch with him. Show me that TikTok thing you got there, Jack. Oh, isn't that neat? And why are the ladies just dancing around, waving their arms, causing songs to play? What? I don't know. It started kind of sounding like Stone Cold. I guess I don't do a very good Biden impression. Apologies. All right, so this is some good news, but I don't know why it's happening. I just read the headline like, well, we need to know about this now, don't we? I don't know who to thank for this. Most medical debt soon to vanish from credit reports. The country's major credit reporting firms will soon remove roughly 70% of medical collection debt from Americans' credit reports. Medical debt is the most common source of collection-related black marks on credit reports. It can lower people's credit scores, making it harder and more expensive to secure mortgages, auto loans, and other credit. and even make it harder to secure a job. The issue has also shown to disproportionately impact Black and Hispanic people, as well as all young adults and low-income individuals, according to the Consumer Fund. Everybody but the old white people. It affects everybody but the old white people. But because the old white people have all the power, the article is still written as if everybody else is insignificant. The old white people are the default. You guys can see it, right? Three major credit reporting agencies, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, outlined 3 changes in reporting that are expected to eliminate more than $60 billion of debt from existing reports. Why is this happening? I'm suspicious. First, all paid medical collection debt will no longer be included in reports as of July 1st. In addition, people will have 12 months up from 6, to settle medical bills before unpaid collection debt appears on reports. The third change, slated for the first half of 2023, will eliminate the reporting of all medical collection debt under $500. The third change is notable as most medical collections on credit reports are low dollar amounts. Data from a recent national sampling from the CFPB showed a median medical collection amount of $310 in 2020, with 62% of collections under $490. The agencies pointed to the COVID-19 pandemic and the prevalence of medical collection debt on credit reports as catalysts for the changes. Said they will help people focus on their personal well-being and recovery. Isn't that nice of them? Once again, I'm still suspicious of why they're doing it. They've also been under pressure from the CFPB, which is focused on credit reporting and inaccurate medical debts in particular, under Director Rohit Chopra. Medical debt collections are considered less predictive of future payment problems than other debt collections, as people rarely choose to incur it. You agree to pay back a loan before taking the keys to a new car, but you don't necessarily plan to be accountable for a medical bill. So it was pressure. They've been threatened, is what it is. It's like, we're gonna come in with legislation if you don't clean it up. I think we should just come and go ahead and go with the regulation. New bombshell report claims that this student company misled student loan borrowers. New report released by the Communication Workers of America and the Student Borrower Protection Center says their investigation into the world's largest student loan company has uncovered new evidence of systematic mismanagement, failure, and abuse. The investigation claims that Maximus, which is a student loan servicer for 13 million federal student loan borrowers and operates under the name Aidvantage. I think that's my fucking student. No, mine's something Lake something or other shit. They allegedly engaged in the following: sloppy student loan servicing, unfair student loan debt collection, unlawful wage garnishment, and improper seizure of public benefits. In response to their investigation, CWA and CBPC launched Aidvantage Watch, a project to spotlight alleged misconduct by Maximus and to ensure fair treatment for all student loan borrowers. Borrowers can visit Aidvantage Watch online to share their experience. So if you do, big shock, they're predatory. If you do happen to have an Aidvantage loan, there is the link. Go get in on that shit and tell them how predatory they are. If you're watching this presently or watching this in the future, I could not find any verification of this happening, which is kind of common with this sort of thing. For some reason, the corporate media doesn't like to cover worker walkouts and strikes, labor actions. They really don't like to cover labor actions. Workers at 3 Amazon warehouses walked out for better pay and longer breaks earlier this morning, and that was on March the 16th. This is the workers walking out. Great Lakes something, that's mine. I piss in your Great Lakes. So, solidarity with workers. Fuck Amazon. Full disclosure, we're on Amazon right now. Some of you guys are watching an Amazon product right now. Fuck Amazon. Side of workers on this show. Especially teachers. Especially all workers, but especially teachers. San Francisco educators slept inside school district offices to demand payment. From the, I think it's the San Francisco, it's broke ass Stewart apparently. Apparently I'm on some blog here. I thought I was on the San Francisco Chronicle. I try to bring you guys reputable sources. I did not realize I was going to be reading a blog post to you. But 20 San Francisco Unified School District educators slept inside the district's offices on Monday night to demand that the district pay them, as hundreds of teachers and other staff members have gone unpaid or only received partial paychecks since January. Group and dozens of their supporters, all members of the labor union United Educators of San Francisco, held a rally on Monday afternoon demanding the district issue their paychecks immediately. I guess this happened last weekend. When was this published? March 15th. The educators have said because of the payment issue, they have been unable to pay rent, medical bills, and other necessities. During a Tuesday morning briefing held inside the district headquarters, third floor administration offices, the group said that although they were able to meet with Superintendent Vincent Matthews on Monday evening, the educators have still not been paid. What's happening in the underpayment, non-payment of our staff is completely unacceptable, and I will fully commit to working with the superintendent until every person, every staff member is completely paid. This is just inexcusable, and we must resolve this now. Several city officials have shown support for the unpaid educators, including multiple city supervisors, Board of Education commissioners, and District Attorney Chessie Bodine. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there was a recall of that board. But I thought that I was reading from the San Francisco Chronicle and they would go into that. And sorry about that. But hey, just know more truck drivers are organizing a union this week than are driving in circles around Washington, D.C. in right-wing convoys. But of course, this will get a fraction of the coverage, if it gets any coverage. If it gets any coverage on, the rally story? Oh, you want me to actually, watch it with you tonight? We can do that. Let's do that after the convoy. Do you have a link, Borg? A good video? If not, I can find it pretty fast. Usually I can find things pretty fast. But before we watch that, I want to show you what happened to the DC convoy. Had a bike rider slow them down. You might not be able to post it in the chat. Can you post it, or are you on Discord? Can you post it in the Discord? Or copy the headline for me. Pull it up here. Because I was wanting to watch it anyway. Yes. Holding up the DC convoy by riding a bike in front of them. Apparently, okay, so I saw this one on Twitter. Apparently, they think like just random cars riding around them are like Antifa cars that are out to get them. Like 6 Antifa cars riding up on me. Oh shit. If you don't know what we're talking about, let's see. Here's the story. I don't know if we've got the correct video that we want to watch here. Putin's dystopia mega rally is a whole new level of batshit. Tens of thousands gathered in Moscow on Friday to witness Vladimir Putin's bizarre spectacle against a backdrop of death and destruction in Ukraine. One of the images from the rally, which looks like suspiciously Trumpian. Yeah, like I heard there were reports that people were paid to attend. A Moscow stadium was crammed full for an event marking the 8th anniversary of Russia's annexation of Crimea on Friday. Crowds, reportedly some 200,000 people, were cheering as Russian President Vladimir Putin took the stage, along with some of his most prominent propagandists. There were patriotic songs, a sea of Russian flags, and slogans that read, "For a world without Nazism," and "For Russia," revealing the underlying theme of the rally. The first letters of the word "for" on these slogans were written in Latin and not Cyrillic, the now notorious letter Z that serves as a symbol in Russia's war against Ukraine. Inside edition. So let's go to the video. Putin's speech during rally suddenly cuts to patriotic song and technical glitch.
Ukraine. Flag-waving supporters cheered him at Moscow's 80,000-seater soccer stadium. But watch what happened during the live TV broadcast. Russian state television suddenly cut away to a patriotic song. Officials call it just a technical glitch, but some wondered if mischief was afoot after that anti-war protest during a Russian news broadcast.
Wait a minute, was he in the middle of speaking? They just all of a sudden cut?
Russian state television suddenly cut away to a patriotic song.
But how do you cut? Well, they're in the same location. You don't just cut away to a song in progress. I don't get it.
Officials call it just a technical glitch, but some wondered if mischief was afoot after that anti-war protest during a Russian news broadcast seen around the world.
Did they cut to music that was recorded earlier?
Piana coat with a caviar price tag of over $13,000. Published reports say spectators were paid $5 to attend. Video showed lots of people leaving the rally early after getting their tickets punched to prove they had showed up. Despite Putin during the rally that the invasion was going according to plan, experts say the Russian military machine is stalled. We're on the third week here. How much longer can the Russians try to pull this off?
The next 8 to 10 days are very critical because they've got troops bogged down. They have got losses, significant losses. He's no longer employing his military as a civilized military. He's organizing a force of terror. And I think you're going to find more atrocities against the civilian populace to break their will.
Look, this residential neighborhood in Kyiv was pummeled by Russian missiles. Building after building gutted. One wall is stripped away, and you can see right inside the apartments. The city's mayor, former pro boxer Vitaly Klitschko, toured the devastation today.
Is the war against civilians.
I mean, I don't know what it is with world leaders just thinking they can go in and take over a country. I mean, how many fucking countries have to fail before you realize, like, that ain't a thing that can happen?
Rockets fall all around us.
At least anymore.
These empty strollers and child seats in the center of the city of Lviv are a poignant memorial to the scores of young children who have been killed in this war. This mom was overcome with emotion at the sight.
You shouldn't have to go through this. This is fucking stupid. All of this is fucking stupid. Oh. Especially Putin's stupid ass fucking speech. That was especially stupid. I'm glad we watched that though. That was hilarious. But I gotta hit the content warning for this. We get fucking cop harassment before we get cop death, at least.
What is the reason I'm getting?
An absolutely disgusting story coming up.
You will be tased. Get out. He said he pulled me over for a traffic stop and he's gonna tase me. You can't do that, officer, because I called for your supervisor. I have my license. What is the reason?
Once again, this is sticking with our theme of we stand with workers. This is a delivery driver. So this is like a Uber Eats, a DoorDasher.
I didn't give your information. I didn't refuse. I asked. Now you're resisting. I haven't refused. I asked to speak to you.
I asked for your information.
Sir,
I got a little dick.
Well, please get your supervisor.
I don't give a shit what you touch me. I said get out.
Please stop it. Why are you being like this? Is how y'all really are? Please stop.
Dude is being incredibly calm.
Please stop.
Get out of the car.
Please don't hurt me. Why?
I mean, we all know the reason, right?
I'm telling you, get out.
I'm telling you that this is not lawful. Oh my God, that's not lawful, sir.
Get out.
That's not lawful.
Get out.
Fuck. I couldn't find a news story on this yet. Wait on what is. Hey, here we go. Earlier this month, 28-year-old Delane Gordon was completing deliveries as a DoorDash driver in Collegedale, Tennessee, about 20 minutes outside of Chattanooga. Seriously, dude's like an hour from where I'm sitting right now. Pulled over for a traffic stop, the situation escalated when Gordon, a black man, asked to speak to a supervisor, and the white police officer pulled out a stun gun. Footage of the incident was released by Gordon's attorney and has gone viral on Reddit. That's clearly where I found it. In the 50-second video, Gordon is seen holding out his driver's license as the officer demands he gets out of the car. Friday, the Hamilton County District Attorney opened an investigation into the incident, but Collegedale police told the local ABC News affiliate there are no current plans to release the officer's body cam footage of the entire incident. Daily Dot reached out to DoorDash and Uber for comment on how to protect drivers when they get in harm's way. Apparently, they didn't respond back. He was incredibly calm. Oh. Okay, so this news organization corrected their headline because the headline was disgusting. I might not have done this story because this isn't about a policy matter with a police officer This is a domestic dispute, so I might not have even covered this. What I wanted to talk about was the headline. God, I can't remember how it went. So yeah. They updated later on in the day. Yep, this is worded completely differently. So originally it said something to the effect of officer and woman die in shooting. Like seriously, that's the way. But I can't get it right though. But like it completely, like I had to open up the article because I'm reading this. I'm like, the cop shot her. The cop shot her and then shot himself. I knew it. And I knew they were doing propaganda by not reporting it the way it should have been reported.
A woman is fighting for her life tonight after being shot. Investigators confirm Scottsboro police officer shot his estranged wife before killing.
There you go. Officer and wife die in double shooting suicide. Officer and wife die in double shooting suicide. There you go. Officer and wife die in double shooting suicide. I knew it. I knew the cop shot her. Knew it.
Killing himself last night. Our Stephante Randall spoke to the victim's sister and a neighbor about this tragedy. She joins us now live. Stephante?
I wish I had come up with the term propaganda. Like that's an actual term people use to describe the media phenomenon of how they are always taking the cops' side. They're always partial to the cops. And a lot of times it's because, like, hey, I was a reporter. I knew all the fucking cops. And you know what? They let me get away with so much shit. Fucking when my dad flipped my mom's Highlander on Xanax, I could have snapped my fingers and made sure he didn't go to jail. I was the news director of 9 radio stations. Seriously. Like, that was how, like, I knew all of the cops. I knew everybody at the courthouse. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so anti-cop, is because if you know fucking cops, you can make shit happen. Like that. Fucking, it's bullshit. She is fighting for her life. Hopefully she has not died. Like, overall, the media will... And that's one of the things that gets me so upset about how, like, fucking police think the media is out to get them or some shit. The media reads their press releases almost verbatim and never questions the narrative. I know, because I did it. It was really easy to read the fucking police press release, word it, for broadcast style, and boom, you got yourself 30 seconds of a news story right there. Totally easy. There's a bias, and also because I knew all the cops. So I was biased towards them because I knew all of them. So, like, I don't suspect this cop of doing something bad to this guy because he's my friend. He gave me a ride home from a concert when I was drunk one time. Fucking, like... One time, I'm driving over to my friend Jason's house. I'm on a 2-lane road. The backwoods of Kentucky. And I see a police cruiser, sheriff's deputy's cruiser, is pulling out of a trailer. It's about a mile down from my friend's house. And it's I know the guy because he was a professional wrestler and my buddy wrestled with him. We were super close to him. His name was Bobby Storm. He was a good guy even though he was a cop. He was a good guy. He's pulling out of, as far as I know, who knows, maybe he wasn't a good guy. He was a cop after all. He's pulling out of his driveway and, like, it's going the same direction as me. So he pulls out behind me. So there's police cruiser, but I'm certain it's my friend Bobby. And I start like swerving all over the fucking road, doing all kinds of crazy shit. I'm 19, 20 at the time, 21 maybe. So I'm fucking swerving all over the road, just doing everything I can to get the cop to pull me over. I pull into my friend's house, pull into his driveway and everything. I get out of the truck. I'm laughing, and out of the driver's seat of that cop car pops some cop I've never seen before. And I'm like, oh, whoa, I'm sorry. I thought you were Bobby. Bobby gets out of the passenger seat of the car and is like fucking pissing himself like, ah, ha, 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 you're scared there for a second, weren't you? So just yeah, they believe that everyone is persecuting us bullshit. And like, hey, it's easy to make yourself the victim. You know, we all fucking do it. It's human intuition to make yourself out to be the victim of some conspiracy or whatever. Or that somebody slighted you, but in reality, like, they had something else on their mind. They weren't even thinking about fucking you. And you think they purposely went out of their way to do something to you. We all have a tendency, you know, we're all the heroes of our own story. So I get the impulse to do that. But the reality of the situation is that the media absolutely trusts the cops way too much, handles them with kid gloves, promotes their narrative, and all the propaganda is truly those stories where like cop helps somebody out on the side of the road, or cop arrests a DoorDash driver and delivers their food. So like, aha, I arrested your driver, but I wanted to make sure I got your delivery, ha. And they'll do those stories. That's propaganda. The shop with a cop. That the fucking, they always do that shit at Christmas time. They take the kids shopping. That's propaganda. That's to make you think the cops are your friends. The cops are not your friends. Shut the fuck up Friday. If a cop pulls you over, you shut the fuck up. Ask you where you're going, you say down the road. They go any further than that, like, would you like to see my license? Registration, that kind of thing? They say any other questions, you ask if you're being detained. You'd be more than free to say that you do not answer questions without the presence of counsel. Oh, it has more to do with if you're a white person. Here's the thing. Let me show you guys what I mean with this. I didn't always look like this. Like, you know, this is me now. Oh, fuck, there's a little picture. You know, that's me now. You know, fucking long hair, Fu Manchu shit. I didn't always look like that. Hold on, I'm trying to find me suit and tie all dressed up here. Here's a picture of me when I was like all clean shaven and shit. All in the suit and stuff. So I know the difference in the way the cops fucking treat you. There's old school. Like I used to fucking wear a suit and tie to fucking work every day. I have seen the difference in the way the cops treat people. Does it look like me? Does it look like me? Look at young Justin getting ready to go to prom or homecoming. I guess it's not a prom dress, is it? That's coke in the 80s. I mean, I was probably no. This is the picture. It looks like I was doing some coke in the 80s. The fuck was I thinking there? This is my headshot in the newspaper. She's a pretty lady. It's a little later in my career. Grew my hair out. Oh shit. I still wear that jacket. That jacket is raggedy. Fuck, we're talking about like some fucking cop death or something. I'm over here like, oh, let me show you pictures of myself. Some dude made that of me. was totally not a virgin. Was probably having some wild ass sex party. At that point in time, when I saw that meme, I was probably planning some wild ass sex party. We were having like Molly and like multiple couples coming over. Still a virgin. Oh, god damn it. Oh, my crazy pictures from the bin. Here's me petting some dogs. Get to see what my hair looks like back here. On a set of a movie, filming some shit, playing with some dogs. Some dude told me that it looked like, because I had that as like my profile picture on Facebook. Some dude told me that I had like the cul-de-sac haircut. I laughed my ass off. Cul-de-sac. Ha ha ha. I do have a cul-de-sac going on. More police departments are declining to report hate crimes. Could be because this police department's committing them. Rising number of law enforcement agencies are opting not to share statistics about hate crimes with the FBI, just as hate crimes are skyrocketing. This is according to the U.S. Justice Department. The decline in reporting hurts efforts to accurately document violence against Asian Americans, Black Americans, and the LGBTQ plus community. The number of police agencies participating in the FBI's hate crimes report declined in 2020, this third straight year of decreases. About 88% of cities don't report hate crime data. More than 12,000 law enforcement agencies reported 0 hate crimes. The list includes police departments in Miami, Little Rock, Arkansas, and right here in Huntsville, Alabama. Let me tell you, the Huntsville Police Department is corrupt as fuck. Hey, Huntsville Police Department, are you listening to me? I'm in your jurisdiction. You are corrupt as fuck. Fuck you dudes. Fuck you dudes. Hadn't been living here only like a year or two. They're involved in a police-involved shooting of an unarmed man. Supposedly carrying a gun, but hey, it's an open carry state. What the fuck? Carrying a gun can't be a crime in an open carrying state. Definitely not punishable by death, you stupid fucks. Just a handful of cities and towns in states like Alabama, Arkansas, and Florida bothered to report hate crimes in 2020. And this is while right-wing propaganda against groups that they try to other is at an all-time fever pitch. Saw it all fucking weekend. Gonna go ahead and hit the content warning now, because this might be triggering to the trans community. I apologize, but I promise I've got some silver linings here. Leah Thomas apparently took first place in a swimming competition. This is a satire liberal site saying congrats to Emma Wyant on your victory. If the feminists won't stand up for you, I will. Transgender swimmer Leah Thomas gets booed on the podium after winning the NCAA Women's Championship race. Runner-up Emma Wyant receives loud cheers. Now, the video, now, did they announce Leah first, or are they going up the podium here? Okay, so they went up the podium, so that was the reaction to Leah Thomas, which wasn't that bad, to be honest with you. It was a smattering of assholes. This is apparently the dad of one of the swimmers competing against Leah. Thinks that he's standing up for the integrity of women's sports. Felipe Delgado is one of the only parents willing to go on the record and share how he feels about Leah Thomas, a female, competing against his daughter. We're reading from the Daily Wire right now, so I might change a few words just to be politically correct, if you will.
So can you tell us a little bit how you feel about your daughter swimming against a biological male in this all-women's race?
You know, it's kind of mixed emotions, right? Because you have to remember, Leah Thomas is a human being. And
I want to state perfectly clear, Leah Thomas is a woman, which is why she is competing in the women's division. Because trans women are women, period.
You have to see the human side of it. She's also not the gatekeeper, so she's not here breaking rules. She's here playing within the rules, and those are the rules.
So is Leah.
By the NCAA.
That's another point I want to make. The NCAA has a stringent testing policy on testosterone and other metrics to ensure the fairness that he is complaining about.
And had they established rules that prohibited her from being here, she wouldn't be here. So I think that everything that's surrounding this championship, unfortunately, we're not seeing all of the positivity that's taking place at this tournament. And we're focusing on things that are dividing us. We're focusing on things that are unfortunately...
Yes, I think you, dude, giving an interview to the Daily Wire, talking about your grievances with the trans community, are focusing on things that divide us. Yes.
Negative. And we have to, once this meet concludes, we have to pull up a chair, have a decent conversation, and figure out how to fix this, because it does have to be fixed.
So you think that we shouldn't be putting responsibility on Leah Thomas? It should be on the people that allowed Leah Thomas to swim in the women's races?
I think more of the responsibility has to be put on the organization that is allowing this to divide us and to focus on things that we should.
You're the one dividing us.
Focusing on the positive, all of the fantastic accomplishments that are taking place here at this meet. And unfortunately, that's not what's going on. So we're missing out, to be honest with you. We're missing out in dialogue on such great things. But, does Leah Thomas have fault? I have to sit back and reflect on that. Just because...
no, she's not.
I'm a believer that there is a gatekeeper. And when that gatekeeper allows somebody to come in who potentially shouldn't be invited to the party, I think ultimately the brunt of the blame, if there is blame to be had, would fall on that person.
Shouldn't be invited to the party. What an asshole. So his daughter will be swimming against Leah Thomas in the 100 freestyle, which I believe Leah lost. I don't know the measurements. She won the 500, I think. So she would have lost the 100. So his daughter is competing against somebody who isn't going to win this event. He's upset that she has an unfair advantage in an event that she didn't win. We're gonna talk about that here in a second as well.
So can you tell us a little bit how you feel about your daughter swimming against a biological male in this all-women's race?
It's kind of mixed emotions, right? Because you have to remember, Leah Thomas is a human being, and you have to see the human side of it.
This is the same video we just watched, wasn't it?
I've given my daughter and I had a conversation today, and tomorrow is her last event. Tomorrow's the last day of the meet, her last individual event. And my conversation with her as a coach, I coached her for 2 years prior to the Olympic Games, is to go out there and kick some ass. And no matter who she's got on either side of her, go out there and try her best and leave with your head held high, because just being here is a massive accomplishment. But we're not here to participate. We're here to get a second swim, and that's you know, that's what the conversation revolved around, is getting the second swim, getting the top 16, if not top 8, and going from there.
Is this hard for her?
It is, you know, and I don't think it's unique to her. I think it's hard for a lot of the kids who are here who have mixed emotions. Again, you want to be happy, but at the same time, something tells you that what's going on is not right. So the emotions are mixed, and when these kids should be focusing on nothing more than a swim meet that they've been preparing for.
I feel like the kids are focusing on the swim meet, and it's all the culture war bullshit. You're talking to the Daily Wire.
Just because we couldn't get it right. It's just unfair to these kids. And the past 24 months haven't been unfair. You know, we just keep piling it on, right? So, again, this should be a time to celebrate. We're divided. There's arguments. There's vitriol, there's hate, and it shouldn't be like that, because sports is the unifier, and it should be something that we celebrate.
Also, sports don't fucking matter, by the way. Like, I know, like, people take issue with, like, and they'll be like, oh, it teaches blah, 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 teamwork and hard work and blah, 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 and work ethic and what the fuck ever. But, like, who wins and loses doesn't matter. Does not matter. So now, before I correct the bullshit, let's hear a little more bullshit. Let's hear Fox News interview some TERFs.
I don't care what surgeries they have. I don't care what they inject into their bloodstream.
So these are supposedly liberal feminists.
I was historically liberal.
I mean, I'm a walk-away Democrat.
I am a lifelong
walk-away Democrat
who ultimately was homeless. It really started maybe right before Biden, but ultimately with the whole Biden election, I began to feel more and more disenfranchised from Democrats. I would say I'm politically homeless now because I don't think the Democrats care about women and girls.
The Democrats are not even acknowledging women as a sex class now. Now men
what?
Babies. Men need abortion. It's no longer even a women's issue.
What's your gender? When Biden came out in the first days of his presidency with his executive order, which replaced the category of sex at the federal level with the category of gender identity, it was a slap.
It was too much for you to handle.
I really haven't known how to categorize myself politically.
I always voted as a liberal. So from 18 to like 39, 38, I registered Republican in 2020 after 2 politicians actually told me they did not want my vote because of my stance on the rights for women and girls.
That term feminism has become so muddied and so mishmashed, much like the term Democrat has become so muddied and mishmashed. It's practically lost all meaning.
They wanted to put men in
reactionary.
Men on sports teams in my daughter's school, and so that's why I decided I cannot be a part of this party anymore.
Yes, they want a man. They want me to go play in your daughter's sports team.
Developmental process can't be reduced to a fixed identity. I do work that supports women and girls' right to sex-based provisions like single-sex spaces, single-sex sports, single-sex prisons, single-sex rape crisis shelters.
That's why I had to switch parties, even though I don't necessarily agree with a lot Republicans do as well.
I have a radical...
Fucking Republicans are batshit crazy. They're fascists.
I don't like to identify myself as anything.
Kids are being taught that they have to trust what the strange man tells them about his identity. No.
Kids are being taught that they have to trust what the strange man tells. What the fuck are you saying?
They're allowed to trust their somebody else.
I know a lot of historically liberal people, especially parents, who have felt like they needed to walk away from the Democratic Party, and I don't know who they're going to be voting for.
And that's the most insane. Somebody told me today, like, well, Trump will win in 2024, and I'm like, he lost in a historic landslide, and you people are still acting like feel embarrassment. You lost spectacularly. How in the fuck? Learn to feel embarrassment, please. Oh, God. This was published in the Daily Wire, gloating about it. Gloating about it. When it completely disproves, they hate this woman so much that they're going to gloat about it, and it disproves their argument. Multiple women beat Leah Thomas in women's 200 freestyle. Yes, multiple women beat another woman in the women's freestyle. That's not an absurd thing to happen. Thomas tied for 5th with Riley Gaines of the University of Kentucky with a time of 1:43.40. This is in the Daily Wire. They are reporting that the super athlete that apparently has so much of an advantage over other females, she needs to be kept out from the sport, actually finished tied for 5th. Make it make sense to me. Swimmer Leah Thomas, who is a woman, tied for 5th place in the women's 200-yard freestyle race Friday evening. Stanford junior Taylor Ruck finished the race with a time of 1:41.12. So clearly she doesn't have this crazy unfair advantage. I've got some other numbers that are going to show you that Leah Thomas doesn't have this crazy unfair advantage. Now, I just copied this from a guy's Facebook post. I didn't want to credit him because I don't want to like, it was just a guy's fucking post. He was just, riffing. I don't want to credit him because I don't want any trolls going after him. And it's just some guy's post. And I asked him if he had a source, like if this is from a story. But apparently he just looked all this shit up. I looked up the names and the times, and they are correct. So if we need to verify anything else in this little factoid here, please let me know. We will verify it. But I looked up all the other names that he is comparing Leah Thomas with. Leah Thomas won one NCAA Finals event, the 500-yard women's freestyle, with a 4:33.24 finish. A senior, meaning this is the last NCAA event she'll ever win. She finished 8th overall. The 7 swimmers ahead of her were all cis women. 8th overall, the 7 swimmers ahead of her, all cis women. They're making a big deal about her winning that one event. Last year's winner of the 500-yard freestyle was Paige Madden with a 4:33.61 finish, a difference of a half of a second. The time would have been good enough for first this year, too. So Paige Madden would have won the event by a half a second. You swapped Madden in for Thomas. Have you heard of Paige Madden, or do you only care about NCAA women's freestyle swimming now that a trans athlete has had modest success? The NCAA women's record for this event was set by Katie Ledecky of Stanford, a very famous and very cisgender multiple Olympic gold medalist, with a time of 4:24 and 6 6/10 of a second. 9 seconds faster than Leah Thomas's time this year. Here in about 20 minutes, Porg, probably, if I don't get distracted again. So that was 9 seconds. The record is 9 seconds faster than Leah Thomas's time this year. So there you have it. There's the breakdown of some of the times. There's also this going around, which shows that Leah's best pre-transition 500-meter time, I think that's 500 yards. Might be somebody that's out of the country. They assume that it's meters. Leah's best pre-transition 500-yard time was 4:18.72. Leah Thomas's current 500-yard time is 4:34.06. So transitioning actually added on 16 seconds to her time. The female record is 4:24.06. The male record is 4:06.32. So she was 10 seconds behind the male record pre-transition. She was 10 seconds behind the male record pre-transition. She's 10 seconds behind the female record post-transition. So I don't see the issue with Leah Thomas. Congratulations to her for winning. And you know, like, I'm not the only one giving her congratulations. An Olympic silver medalist who lost to Leah Thomas at NCAA championships said she's proud to support trans athletes. While the Daily Wire was busy interviewing that dad and the turfs were on Fox. University of Pennsylvania swimmer and newly anointed national champion Leah Thomas has found herself at the center of America's debate over transgender athletes' participation in women's sports. One notable voice in the chorus of individuals supporting Thomas and other trans athletes belongs to Texas Longhorns freshman Erica Sullivan, who touched the wall after the controversial swimmer in Thursday night's final. One day after finishing third behind Thomas and Virginia Cavaliers star Emma Wayant, Sullivan penned an op-ed for Newsweek in which she explained why I'm proud to support trans athletes like Leah Thomas. All athletes, including transgender athletes, deserve to be respected and included exactly as we are, Sullivan wrote. Throughout my life, swimming has enabled me to learn so much, both in and out of the pool, and transgender athletes should not be excluded from this opportunity. Agreed. Concerns about perceived fairness have no place in this. Fairness is allowing transgender people to compete in sports. Sullivan, who stood on the 1,500-meter freestyle podium. Okay, maybe it was meter. I don't know anything about sports, yards, meters. Somebody fucked up. So Sullivan, who stood on the 1,500-meter freestyle podium alongside swimming icon Katie Ledecky at the Tokyo Olympics, noted that as a member of the LGBTQ plus community herself, feel incredibly grateful that coming out as gay never kept me from being able to participate in the sport I love. Congratulations, Leah Thomas. I hate that there is so much hate being hate and vitriol directed towards you. I've seen so many fucking memes. I've seen this picture alongside of, there's a South Park episode where like they're mocking the Macho Man, like competing in women's sports or something, which is really disappointing for South Park. They've been so good about correcting the bullshit of their past, and like they had an episode, The Sissy, that was praised by LGBTQ groups for its handling of the trans topic. So I was really disappointed in the strong woman. Yes, Vice Principal Strong Woman, or whatever the fuck it was, storyline. It was really stupid. It wasn't funny, and they didn't really have a point to make. But I've seen pictures from that episode transposed with this podium. I wish I could go up and give you a hug, girl. But congratulations to second and third and all the rest of them. Fuck sports. I don't give a shit. But if it makes you guys happy, enjoy the hell out of it. What's going to make me happy tonight is skipping the whole lab leak thing. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. I tackle all of the right-wing nonsense, I don't want anybody to ever accuse me of not doing stories that are being accused by right-wingers of being covered up. I don't have it in me to do lab leak tonight. We'll do lab leak tomorrow. We need a little fun after all this bullshit. There has been shock at the return of a New York City teacher who sucked a man's nipple in Zoom class. Now, we did not have the video when we first reported on this story here on the Troll Patrol. I believe it happened like May of last year or something like that. We did not have video. This is the video of the incident. Let me set this up for you. Apparently, I need to hit the content warning. A teacher teaching a Zoom class is eating a bowl of spaghetti. Now, as I said, this is the first time I'm seeing the video. I'm seeing it with you guys for the very first time. I know what happens in it because I reported on it already. She's eating a bowl of spaghetti and then pauses to suck a shirtless man's nipple. So I'm very intrigued to see what this video is like. It's only a 23-second clip here, and apparently it's very graphic content. Yes, that was also in the reporting. I remember reading that she shrugged her shoulders and smiled after she did it. Okay, so like they don't actually show her eating the spaghetti. That's what's wild. You see that something is indeed in her mouth. But she is not flaunting her bowl of spaghetti at us. I mean, and if I remember correctly from the original reporting, it's not like she thought she was off camera because she just goes back to teaching in a second, but like we don't have the full video. Then she just looked up and started teaching the kids again. But also, if she's eating spaghetti, why is there, like, Joe Rogan is in this woman's apartment. Why is Joe Rogan in this woman's apartment letting Professor Fletcher suck on his nipple? Proud of herself. I think she did a good job sucking that nipple. I mean, a Manhattan Spanish teacher yanked from the classroom after investigators found she sucked on a man's nipple during a Zoom class returned to the same school this month, stunning students who had witnessed the lewd display. It's weird, it's wrong, a junior told the Post. It was so embarrassing for her to come back. The City Department of Education's handling of the incident, one of the most bizarre during the pandemic, showed insensitivity and a failure to communicate with students and parents. The Department of Education removed teacher Amanda K. Fletcher from Columbia Secondary School for Math, Science, and Engineering amid the COVID-19 shutdown in October of 2020 after investigators found she engaged in an inappropriate sex act while remotely instructing her class. During the lesson, Professora Fletcher, as students called her, sat at a kitchen table eating spaghetti with a shirtless man standing behind her. She appeared to suckle on the man's nipple while rocking back and forth, then turned to the camera, smiled, and wiggled her shoulders. Oh, thank you, Star Craving. That's what I didn't want to come ill prepared if I was gonna have to talk about it, and it's all the fucking right wing has been talking about. And like, here's the thing: is like the trans athlete argument. Specifically, trans rights, we're winning, like in popular opinion, on trans rights. But when it comes to talking about popularity, polls, all that, when it comes to polling on trans athletes, popular opinion is against trans athletes. So there is work to be done. So it is a matter of fairness that we need to educate people on what exactly is going on. The numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster. Sacrifice. I'm sorry. Oh my God, are you seeing what I'm seeing? A student in the class asked a friend. She was eating pasta full on, then a half-naked guy came on. After taking her mouth off the man's chest, Fletcher did a little shimmy. He wasn't hiding it. It was a look of me kind of thing. A look at me kind of thing. One student recorded the scene and shared the video with other kids. Fletcher caused another buzz when she unexpectedly showed up at the school 17 months later. Principal Miriam Nightingale claimed her hands were tied. The decision to return Amanda Fletcher to service was not made at the school level. I cannot change her assignment to our school nor bar her from the building. Nightingale added that she didn't expect Fletcher to be near the mom's daughter except for incidental contact such as passing in the hall. Mom was livid. I don't care where the woman goes, but give us a heads up. Let the kids know because they did their duty by talking to investigators, and then suddenly she's back in their faces. The mom, who asked to remain anonymous to protect her daughter's privacy, said she called the superintendent's and chancellor's office repeatedly, but got a runaround, so she called a reporter. Wednesday, a day after the Post asked about Fletcher's return, the DOE sent Fletcher to a district office, a spokeswoman said. Before returning to the school, Fletcher settled misconduct charges by agreeing to irrevocably resign effective July 1st. DOE spokeswoman would not explain why Fletcher was sent back to school until then. So she's going to resign on July 1st. They worked it out for her to resign on July 1st, but then sent her back to the school before she can resign to finish out the school year. Teacher fucking shortage, guys. I'm assuming that was the decision. Well, we've got her until July. Make her fucking teach. Damn. Yeah, I usually don't go this long. I'm running out of saliva. Here's a dog on a treadmill. Oh, there's a cutie. Look at that puppy. I don't know how I feel about the treadmill thing, though. Like, it's cool if the dog is into it, but like if the dog why aren't I going anywhere? That would be my worry. Why am I running and not going anywhere? If it would be emotionally taxing on the dog. Baby seems to like it though. Going to fucking town, wear itself out. I bet that baby has no trouble going to sleep after it gets off the fucking treadmill. I mean, it's on the treadmill like it wants to do it. So I'm assuming the dog is really into it. I mean, it would seem like torture to me to be stuck in one place and not be going anywhere. The nice fucking collar. Yeah, he's really into it, isn't he? Or she. Either or. That is adorable. Okay, I'm into it. Because I was worried at first. Like, wouldn't that be taxing on the dog? No. Dog is totally into it. It's begging for it. It's smiling real big. Ah, shit. If you're watching on Twitch, you are heading over to Echoplex Media. It is time for the Plex. Dorian Matt. Get to check out his new setup, I hope. It is with producer Dave. They're going to take real good care of you. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I am Justin FREAKIN. We will see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol. Live.